Two of them together.
What it is.
Yes. I mean, we'll never see this run again, Jim.
Brady's pass is intercepted and returned for a touchdown by Logan.
What we're gonna What we're gonna do right here is go back into time.
Previously on the Rich Eisen Show.
Peter King's on right now, and I don't know if you saw what Adam Schefter just reported. DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona.
DeAndre Hopkins is an 8th-year player. There is no position in this draft that has as many good players in it as wide receiver. The most important element of this trade is certainly not David Johnson. It's that 38th pick overall. That is why Bill O'Brien did this deal.
Another Rich Eisen Show is coming at you right now.
Y'all ready for this?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
We have no idea what's going to look like 5 weeks from now. None. Because things are going in light years, in just minutes.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com.
This feels like 9/11 to me. Totally know it's different between terrorism and pandemic, but I'm just talking about the way we're all feeling as Americans.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Stay positive and don't freak out.
Today's guests, LSU head coach Ed Orgeron, NBC Sports Boston Patriots insider Tom Curran, and now it's Rich Eisen.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. We are live from our Los Angeles studios here, and day 2 of the legal conversation negotiation window before the new league year in the NFL comes into place tomorrow. And huge quarterback news to start the day. Monster quarterback news, one that we have been waiting for an answer for quite some time, and we got it. Out of Philadelphia, Nate Sudfeld has signed a 1-year deal with the, wait a minute, hold on a second.
He was the first domino?
I'm being told.
That Sudfeld domino?
I'm being told in my ear by no one in particular that's not the story. The Nate Sudfeld domino has fallen.
That's a good fantasy name.
The Nate Sudfeld domino?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, the news hit today in the 21st century, as it always does, on Instagram. On Instagram, through social media, Tom Brady saying forever a Patriot and saying farewell to his teammates, coaches, executives, and staff. Coach Belichick, RKK, which is the way that everyone in the Patriot organization and many in the NFL refer to Robert K. Kraft. And the Kraft family, entire organization, he goes on to thank them, talks about how they've allowed him to maximize his potential and be the person that he can be. It's all high-class, first-rate stuff that you would expect from Tom Brady. And then towards the end of the first page, although my football journey will take place elsewhere, I appreciate everything that we have achieved, and I'm grateful to our team, incredible team in caps accomplishments. I've been privileged to have had the opportunity to know each and every one of you and to have the memories we've created together. Forever a Patriot, with the exception of the next 2 to 3 years, because he's going elsewhere. Don't know where, don't know when. There was a second page under the category of Love You, Pats Nation, a full page in which he talked about the fans and Patriots supporters who have meant so much to him, called Massachusetts his home for 20 years, happiest 2 decades I could have envisioned in my life. My children were born and raised here, and you always embraced this California kid as your own. Damn straight they did. Eventually, he goes on to mention, you open your heart to me, and I open my heart to you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will always love you and what we have shared a lifetime full of fun memories. And he will be a Patriot forever. No matter where he goes, no matter how successful he may be where he goes, he will be a Patriot forever. He'll have his name on whatever Ring of Honor might be there in Gillette.
Statue.
Okay, they'll be all there. It'll all be there forevermore. And when he goes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it'll all be about Pats Nation and maybe a little bit of what he's about to build or create over the next 2 to 3 years. And according to all reports, including my colleagues at NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, saying it's the Bucs and Chargers who have put $30 million plus on the table for TB12. So, unless there's a third interested party that has not made its interest known for, well, I would assume the obvious reasons, because it would leave a large bag of you-know-what on the table of the team if Tom doesn't choose the option by sticking with whatever quarterback they have. Obviously, in Tampa, they're telling Jameis, hang on. We'll see if Jameis hangs on. And they're maybe keeping their options open with Bridgewater. And in Los Angeles, here with the Chargers, it's Tyrod Taylor or Tom or whoever they might draft. But to you, Sir Chris Brockman, and to the rest of Patriots Nation, I send my condolences to you. And also say to you, from the bottom of my heart and with all sincerity, welcome to the rest of us. Welcome back to the rest of us.
You think so?
Welcome back to the rest of us.
Matt Castle won 11 games.
Welcome back to the rest.
I mean, you can speak that into existence all you want.
Welcome back to the rest of us. Hear me out. Matt Castle won 11 games. I understand. Didn't make the playoffs that year. Chad Pennington actually did, believe it or not.
Because Brett Favre couldn't beat the Dolphins.
Okay. Neither could the Patriots this year, too. Again, I just want to put it all in perspective for you. I said the same thing just in case you think this is any sort of Patriot hate or New York anger.
I mean, I know that's where it's coming from.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Dude, excuse me.
The Bills friends that I have are doing cartwheels right now.
Excuse me. I have hosted Patriots kickoff dinners. I have seen Belichick up close and personal and have come back and off the air,
totally get
on the air, have sung the praises. Robert Kraft and his family have been nothing but generous in any sort of way for the Jimmy Fund, which my brother-in-law is particularly involved in the New England area. None of this comes from that. And as further proof, I was saying the same thing when Mariano Rivera retired. Okay? To Yankee fans, welcome to the rest of the world. I was saying the same thing. Because Brady, in your world for the last 20 years, was definitely similar to Mariano Rivera in the Yankee world. Brady, however, won one more championship, I think. If I could figure that out in my head, than Rivera did. Right? So, honestly, it's different. It's going to be different. Doesn't matter if you do acquire Cam Newton by sundown, which all of a sudden is amazing that it's entirely possible, and Patriots fans hope it.
Bizarre. Man.
After Patriots fans have had their fun with the way Cam's dressed and done his business and did his business, and Instagram's out and all sorts of hieroglyphics that you can't understand if you're over the age of 30. Okay, right now all of a sudden, hey,
well, come on,
bring him in.
Come on up.
Bring him in.
Come on over.
Sure, bring him in. Teddy Bridgewater, bring him in. Yeah, we'll do it. We're showing it on our YouTube feed, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Don Bowie, our coordinating producer, putting it up on the screen. The it being Cam Newton's Instagram post of his own today, calling out the Panthers for trying to frame his looking for a trade as it coming from him and not from the Panthers. And we'll put a pin in that for a second. But just hear me out here. It's just not ever going to be the same again. Well, whoever comes in won't be the extension of Belichick that Brady's been, won't be the person who just calmly stares down the opponent with no time left on the clock and no timeouts left on the clock and marches down the field. Never will always make the right decision. Never going to be the same again. Welcome to the rest of us. It won't be as bad as some of the rest of us in the AFC East, okay? Because in Bill you trust now, and the pieces will be there, and a quarterback will come in of considerable talent, one would think, or they'll draft somebody and you'll take some medicine that you haven't really felt since like the year 2000.
Been a while.
Okay?
Been a while.
But when it all comes down to it, there will never be another Brady Belichick again in New England and maybe in the NFL. The only thing that comes remotely close to it, we discussed it after the Super Bowl, Andy Reid and Mahomes. Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh have to stay together another 18 years to match the 20 that Belichick and Brady have had together. With all due respect, welcome to the rest of us.
I just can't believe my son was born into a world where Mookie Betts and Tom Brady don't play for my favorite teams anymore.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
That you're going to be telling, well, I mean, you would have, even if Brady had returned for 2-3 years.
I would still have to tell him, but we would have been sitting on the couch together watching Pat's games.
Welcome to the rest of us.
Ugh. I don't like this feeling, man.
It's true. It's true, man. And I can't wait to see where Brady decides to come. I think the Chargers need him way more than the Buccaneers do. The Buccaneers were the ones apparently who came out of the gate strongest, and that might be giving them an inside track on Tom. Los Angeles might be giving the Chargers an inside track on Tom also. Bucks pushed their chips to the center of the table, apparently Jim Fossil style, right as soon as the gates opened. Maybe the Chargers did too. We don't know. But the Chargers, man, with that new building that I hope will be opened on time and games going on time with all the obvious craziness going on in our world, in the real world. But in the football world, oh, man, do the Chargers need Tom Brady to come out here and say, hey, there's another team in Los Angeles playing in that new building. Hey, everybody. Now, how about this? Patriots visit Chargers. Bucks visit Patriots in the 2020 National Football League season.
Dude.
Tom and Pewter coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy training.
Creamsicles?
LFG.
Am I going to have to buy a creamsicle jersey?
Crazy training it. How about them apples, huh? Oh, boy.
Wait, Crazy Train gets retired, right?
No.
No. That's the
What do you mean?
song. That's the Patriots song.
That's Tom's song.
No.
That's Tom's song. Tom built Gillette.
Again.
Tom built that whole
Actually,
Oregon
Gillette
thing.
been around a
Obviously,
little longer.
obviously, this might be, if you ordered 1 through 100, things that will not ever be the same again for the New England Patriots based on Brady's decision.
I am never listening to Crazy Train ever again.
Whether Crazy Train's getting played or not, I'm telling you, man,
Well, you ain't shipping out to Boston. You're shipping
everything
out of
becomes
Boston.
so much more interesting now. Where does Brady go? How does he look? How does he play? Who comes with? And then what do the Patriots do without him? This whole conversation, when we've just been so bored of the same conversations in our industry of topic bars at the bottom of your screen and split screening and arguing, guy on right, guy on left, woman on right, woman on left.
Just when the Patriots
Guy on
are
right,
coming in.
guy on the left, woman in the box in the center trying to keep the peace, and these argument shows, all of this stuff that we've all done, certainly on game day morning, bottom of the screen, topic bar of conversation. It's like the chicken or the egg. Who's more important, Brady or Belichick? Who was the one piece that meant the most for the Patriot way,
Right.
Brady or Belichick? Well, guess what?
Get outta
We're
here.
about to find out.
Next.
And even if, next.
Yeah.
Next.
Next.
Then all the people, I saw you out there. Tom will never do it. He'll never do it. He'll never think of doing it. Barking into their microphone like they're sitting on their throne, knowing everything. And then when it happens, yeah, you know what? I was just, making sure my phone lines light up. All the garbage. We never know. We never know. Guess what? Tom's out. Who's in? What does Belichick do? How does it look? Did they play Crazy Train? does Edelman's case for the Hall of Fame get derailed because Tom's not there? I mean, get ready for the hot takes.
I didn't even think of that.
They're all new. We're all refreshed in the sports TV world. Who's got, more pressure? Tom or Bill? Oh! So much better than him going back to New England. I'm serious. For this cottage industry, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, in that respect, yes.
But for you.
For me, it's not great.
Because it's not going to be the same, no matter who comes in.
It's not great.
And welcome to the rest of us.
Can we just hit the reset button on 2020?
I mean,
844-204-RICH, number to dial. Tom Curran will join us. We have summoned Tom Curran because apparently
that signal's been thrown up.
We threw up the signal for Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston. Apparently, again, according to Robert Kraft, RKK himself, Tom went to Bob's house last night, hopefully staying 6 to 10 feet apart, and had a conversation. We sent up the signal for Tom Curran. He's joining us top of hour number 2. Oh, and by the way, that's just one major story. Stephon Diggs is now a Buffalo Bill. And on the same day that the Houston Texans traded away DeAndre Hopkins, in part, supposedly, reportedly, because they needed to replenish the draft choices that Bill O'Brien, coach/general manager, coughed up for Tunsil, coughed up for other players in draft, for future draft considerations. To replenish that, he trades away DeAndre Hopkins, gets just a 2, and a swap of 4, and David Johnson, who, you know, it's funny thing is, like, somebody tweeted out, in case you haven't been paying attention, you know, David Johnson was a pretty good guy. I'm like, yeah, I guess we've been paying attention since you haven't stopped paying attention in 2016.
3 years ago.
Right? All right. So in the same day that the Houston Texans make this trade for DeAndre Hopkins to replenish their draft choices and get only a 2, the Vikings trade away Stephon Diggs and get 4 draft choices, including a first. Oh, man. J.J. Watt's tweeting out back on March 11th, these are truly wild times. I think that was in reference to the real world stuff.
Right.
He retweeted that yesterday saying this tweet was ahead of its time. And I don't believe he was referring to real world stuff in that tweet. So Joe Banner is going to join us, our go-to general manager and team executive of choice. And then in hour 3, we're so honored, and this is part of the reason why Coach Ed Orgeron is about to join us. Both Coach O and Jack Nicklaus put out videos this past week and weekend to say to millennials in particular, and college kids in particular, and people who are maybe hanging out on Clearwater Beach in Florida right now like nothing's happened, and people who are apparently calling the governor of the state of New York, as Andrew Cuomo said in his press conference today, complaining about the closure of bars. Hey, everybody, life needs to change now so life doesn't end for certain members of our country and world in certain age groups in which Jack Nicklaus resides. So Coach O's about to join us, and obviously we'll talk a little bit of football with him, with Joe Burrow, and what he told his team. Spring practice, everything's out the window, obviously. And then Jack Nicklaus, 6-time Masters champion, will join us top of hour number 3 to talk about this, and apparently he wants to talk NFL free agency, which I am all in for.
All right.
As I believe Vern once said about Jack, yes, sir. YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show if you want to watch me. I'm wearing a heather gray sweater.
Oh.
For those scoring at home in our Wormhole YouTube page chat box.
That was off the board.
No patches. And stay tuned on this Rich Eisen Show radio affiliate to call us at 844-204-RICH. Our phone lines are lighting up on this busy day. Coach Ed Orgeron, Tom Curran, Joe Banner, Jack Nicklaus, and you live here on the Rich Eisen Show on a busy Tuesday. Hey, folks, it might not be tailgating season, but we're all looking forward to the days that tailgating season starts once again. Oh, my gosh, are we? And let's not take it for granted. when we get back out there again. It'll be amazing. And the best way to do it is to go out there with a Honda Ridgeline and drive into the parking lot like a boss. It is such a beautiful vehicle, the Honda Ridgeline. We put it front and center in our Super Bowl Rich Eisen show opens. And it is the king of tailgating. It truly is. An 82-quart ice chest, features a drain plug, lockable in-bed trunk, features built-in grocery bag hooks and guides for accessory cargo dividers. Oh, my gosh. The available truck bed audio system. Mike, amazing, right?
It is unbelievable, Rich.
Thank you for paying attention.
I was actually typing something. I'm sorry.
Very good. Travel to every game like royalty, no matter what. And we can't wait for you to do it again. Go to your local Honda dealer, look at the Honda Ridgeline, kick a tire, test drive it. Ed Orgeron when we come back. Okay, come on again. Hey, Mike, I think I'm out of batteries.
Yep.
Would
Okay.
you mind?
All
Or
right.
actually, you want to flip them to me so we can maintain a proper
I will.
social distance
Actually,
of like.
Cisco's coming up.
Oh,
And
hold
here.
on.
Watch this. Watch this.
Uh-oh.
You got the batteries? This is, by the way, how I came in today.
I mean, I saw this and I just was like, Mike Rich.
Thank you.
It's a great idea.
I saw this in the front seat of my car. I wiped it down.
Put it on.
Right?
That's great.
That's a great idea, Rich.
I'm sorry. I honestly. By the way, Howie Mandel ahead of the curve, huh?
It's true.
Howie Mandel.
But we all dogged Howie forever with the sanitizer and the fist bumps.
So I'm now wiping down the back. I'm not kidding, people. Don't mess around.
By the way, Brockman and I are a little even more upset. The Patriots are coming into the Rams this year.
And the
was gonna-
Chargers. They play both.
I know, but that was going to be a big.
I know. By the way, the Bears just broke open the bank for Robert Quinn.
Did they really?
Yeah. 70.
That's one of the things I want to ask.
70
I
million.
want to ask Joe Banner, by the way, when he joins us. Looks like everybody's making a run on defensive linemen, huh?
Yeah. Big time.
Just been told I need to make sure they're dry before I put them in. Is that what I got to do?
don't.
I just dropped one.
Fumble.
It's just electricity, huh?
Who are the Pats going to get?
I don't know, man.
I love it. You're like, let's bring Cam in, man. And you've just been
I mean,
all the
what's gonna-
Fitzes and Sullys who make fun of his hats and his.
this is crazy. Like this, when I saw that news,
Let us embrace you, Cam.
I mean, this is nuts.
It's nuts.
It's going to be really weird not
Funny
seeing
thing
him.
is, though, is like
All right.
you knew it was coming eventually.
Right.
So you're always sort of bracing yourself.
Right.
I guess I just
But I
never.
thought he would retire.
I guess I just never thought he'd actually do it.
to leave.
By the way, is this a good advertisement for Callaway?
I know, right?
Right. Great. Also say Jack Nicklaus is going to be joining us. We talk a little bit of golf later. What do you think? It is Callaway golf. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, nice.
It's been used quite a bit. Why would it be? It's just strange. Why would the back of my golf glove be more worn than the front? It's a little odd.
What do you do, Rich?
I don't know what I'm doing with this glove.
Throw it in your pocket. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
This is nuts, Brady. I'm like Brockman. I'm shocked.
It stinks. It's terrible.
This is crazy. This is like crazy. This is worse than Rivera, I think, Rich. It's worse than-
terrible.
It is. It's worse.
Well, because Rivera was just the closer.
Yeah, this is worse. For them, this is worse.
This is way worse.
I don't know who we could who could in New York.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
He's the
Hold on a
closest.
second. Hold on a second. Did you just refer to Mariano Rivera as just a closer? Are you serious? Are you serious?
What is his position?
He is a closer.
Right. He's just a closer.
He was a so Tom Brady's just a quarterback. Is that
Well,
it?
Tom Brady
He
plays
plays the
every
whole
offensive
game.
snap.
Yeah.
I
Mario
know.
Rivera pitches one inning
Right.
every other game.
But he also
Not even.
He also allows the starting pitcher to only go 5 because all you need to know is you got to get 6 and 7
And you're
before
in.
8 and 9 he can take care of.
No, that is a
And
different time. Mario Rivera pitched in an era where starting pitchers went 7 innings plus, and then he pitched the 9th.
Dude, what are you talking
No,
about?
we'd have
What are you-
Stanton in the middle inning closes
kidding
all
me?
the time. We had great.
You had Stanton for 1 year.
By the way, the
I just threw that
96
out.
Yankees went starter 5, Ramiro Mendoza for 1 or 2 if necessary, and then if it was just 1, then Rivera came on for 2, and then John Wetland.
Wetland, that's right, Wetland, too. I always forget
that was
Wetland.
96.
Tom Brady played
98,
every single
99,
offensive
2000.
snap. Mariano Rivera
Oh my God!
averaged 70 innings pitched per year. Innings.
And
you know how many innings are in a baseball season?
He was as important
More
to
than
the
1,000.
Yankees.
And in the same way, hold on a second.
He played 7% of the time.
In the same way that a quarterback can totally destroy a team with a bad interception, a blown save can destroy a winning streak, can destroy a locker room, can start you on a whole. It's not. You're not just a closer when you're Mariano Rivera.
He played
Actually, 7%
of the time.
What you are is perfect. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We appreciate you spending any part of whatever lockdown you might be on, or quarantine, or self-imposed quarantine, or self-imposed lockdown. If you know anybody who is not feeling well, make sure they seek medical attention. I know it's difficult for people to figure out. There's no testing that's apparent for you. Many of you might not even have a doctor that you can just call. Just call a doctor that you've heard of or know of, or a friend can refer you to, and figure out. If you are sick, stay home, please. And as long as we are feeling well and being socially distant with one another physically, as opposed to the usual figurative social distancing that we normally feel for one another, we'll be here best we can, okay? And the NFL with free agency has been lit. As Coach Orgeron's calling us in a minute, let's go to our buddy in Oklahoma, one of our diehard friends and fans who loves the Buffalo Bills, who I might just be smelling some blood in the water. Matt in Oklahoma. What's up, Matt?
Merry Billsmas, Rich.
You've got Merry Billsmas, huh? You got to be loving what they're doing. You got to be loving what's.
It's like Christmas morning around here. We got Diggs last night, and Brady is out of the AFC East. I'm just giddy. I'm gonna cook some chili. Just be giddy all day.
I mean, with Diggs there and John Brown and the running game as good as anybody else's. You know, I know Frank Gore's long in the tooth, but Singletary shows some serious chops. Allen improving. The defense being stout. I'm very happy for you, Matt.
I am. Hey, Belichick will be gone within 2 years, I guarantee you.
Okay, thank you. Hey, say hi to your family, say hi to your kids. Stay happy and safe. I've got Coach Ed Orgeron here on the show. He is LSU football's head coach, as well as the national champion head coach, and the man who is sending the presumed first overall pick into the draft in Joe Burrow. He is Ed Orgeron. How are you, Coach O?
Rich, you're doing fine here in Louisiana. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. My family's happy and healthy. I'm doing everything that I need to try and stay safe and staying away from anything that I don't need to be at. And I know that that's something that you spoke to in a video this week, and I'd love to give you the floor on that, Coach O.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty important. The governor approached me of doing the PSA for protection against the coronavirus, and they made the script, and I read the script, and I thought it was very good, especially about having the game plan, about the seriousness of this disease that's hitting our country. But you know what? We need to fight it. We need to battle it. We need to take precautions and protect our family, protect our team, and that's what we're doing here at LSU.
Now, and I'm sure, you in particular, certainly in that state, and I think nationally, it's an important voice, yours, Coach, not only because it's very distinctive, but also because there's tons of millennials, college kids that may not be taking this as serious as they should, that maybe they hear it from you, it might mean something.
Yes, it affects all ages, and it is very critical that we adhere to what the government is telling us to protect ourselves, stay at home, don't go out unless you absolutely have to, and just protect ourselves. We got to even this thing out. We're in the battle. We're in the battle of something very big across this country. But you know what? I know this country. I know the people in this country. We will fight, and we'll get it right.
When did you first realize that this might affect your football season and your preparation for the next football season, Coach?
Obviously, everything was changing day by day by day. We heard things, shutting down. And then all of a sudden, they tell me the school's shutting down and everything is closed and the weight room is closed. And so, we took it very serious. Most of our young men went home. They went home with some workouts they could do on their own, obviously not at a gym. We just got to weather the storm, but their health and their concern is first with us.
Ed Orgeron, LSU Tigers head coach here on the Rich Eisen show. Spring practice is history. Do you have any idea, any sense, or any planning about when you think college football might be back on a gridiron in a manner that is close to normal? Have you had any conversations with anybody about getting back out there, when to expect it?
It's pretty much unknown, to be honest with you. They set the date for April 15th, which may be that date or may be pushed back. Hopefully that we get some days back, maybe in June or something like that. I don't know. But obviously, I want to start camp in August, and hopefully by August we have this thing taken care of.
How is this affecting recruiting, Coach, in terms of, how you're contacting anybody, or clearly traveling and in-home visits are going to be verboten for the time being. How has this affected that part of your job?
It's affected us a bunch. We have one of the top graduate assistant transfers come and visit us the weekend that they said that they couldn't visit anybody. He was at the airport with his parents, and we had to send them back home. So obviously it's affecting on-campus visits. But we do have enough time now that nobody's at school. Some of our coaches in the office, we are texting recruits when they're at home. We're calling them. So that's an advantage for us right now. But I think everybody's on hold, and everybody's protecting their family first.
Ed Orgeron, LSU Tiger head coach, right here on the Rich Eisen show. You sent, I believe, 16 or 17 kids to the combine this year from LSU. How often has your phone been ringing off the hook from NFL scouts, coaches about your kids?
Yeah, here's what we hear. Although they're very talented, they're very pleased with the character of our young men. And that's what I talk to most scouts and coaches about. And obviously they're led by Joe Burrow, who I think is going to be the number one guy in the draft. We have a possibility of having 6 first-round picks in the draft, and we're very proud of that.
What is your take on the sense that prevailed all the way through the Super Bowl and up to the Combine and perhaps even past the Combine, that Joe Burrow wants no part of Cincinnati and is trying to avoid being drafted first overall because of the Bengals?
Yeah, I don't think there's any truth to that at all. Knowing Joe, he wants to be the top pick. He wants to compete. And plus, Cincinnati's close to his home, so I think this would be perfect for him.
Okay, so you don't think there's any there. Have you had any conversations with him on that front at all?
No, not really. We don't have to talk about that. I know Joe's hurt. Joe's hard. He's a competitor, and I would be shocked if that ever came out of Joe Burrow's mouth.
And then when it comes to the rest of your Tiger grouping, which one do you want to pound the table for that might not be on the radar screen of a lot of NFL fans that you think should be drafted higher than might be the stock that's been placed in him so far, Coach?
I don't know where they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he was along with Joe Burrow, he was a different style team. The young man is electric. I tell everybody when Clyde walks into the room, he's 6'4", 270. And he's done a tremendous job. He was a running back that broke tackles. He caught the ball out of the backfield. He helped our empty package, and a tremendous young man.
And, when did you first hear of him? His story is fascinating to me, Coach.
Yeah, Clyde was committed to Coach Miles' staff. That was the year I became interim coach.
Mm-hmm.
We kept him. We had to fight for him. But we watched the film. We evaluated him. We knew he'd be a good football player. I always thought that he was underrated. He reminded me a lot of Maurice Jones-Drew, who we had to go against when I was at USC. We thought he'd be a great back. But he developed here at LSU into being one of the best backs we've had here in a long time.
And, Coach Dabo Swinney, when Deshaun Watson was coming out, Watson wasn't being talked about first overall, and he said that he was Michael Jordan in cleats, and anybody who passed him up was going to regret it, and that anybody who didn't put a first-round grade on him should be fired from their job. What is Burrow in cleats? Would you say that he's got some sort of comparison to whom, in your estimation?
I don't know myself, Tom Brady. Okay,
We lost Coach O.
Just
the mention of Tom Brady caused the phone line to go dead.
Uh-oh.
We'll get Coach O back on.
Get him back on. I was like, what the hell? I just looked down. I'm like, what is that?
Oh, wait, there he is. Mike, just pick
He's
it up.
back.
Pick it up.
Oh, wait, he's got him.
Hold on a second.
Stand by. I wanted to get him first. That's funny. There he is.
Coach, you there?
yes, sir.
Okay, we just lost you when you were comparing him to who?
Tom Brady. I think that I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady, going to have the success he has, but I do believe that Joe has the smarts, the intangibles that it takes to be a championship quarterback. When I watch the Patriots play and I see Tom Brady, Joe reminds me a lot of them. Now, I don't know Tom Brady personally, but I would assume that Joe has some of the traits that he has that you can't measure in the quarterback.
So then what when you see Brady play goes, oh, that does look like Burrow to me? Like, what about that?
A winner. He wants the ball in his hands. He believes he's going to win every game. You give Tom Brady the ball with 46 seconds left and he's down by 7, the likelihood of him winning, he's going to win. He's won a lot of games at the end. He leads his football team, and Joe gave us the sense in every game that we were going to win. Even though we were down by 10 against Clemson, nobody ever blinked because we knew Joe would take us out the hole.
And you think he could he handle that comparison, Coach?
Well, I think Joe can handle anything. He has that kind of mentality. He has that kind of grit to him. As you saw after the game, he is not shy about anything. Joe's a competitor, and he's ready for this NFL.
And you know, New England is losing Tom, as you may have heard earlier today. You've already lost your Brady to the NFL in Joe Brady. What is your plan to, once LSU football starts up again, to replace such a crucial part of your staff, Coach?
Well, you know, I hired Scott Linehan. You know Scott is the head coach of St. Louis Rams, NFL defensive coordinator, a lot of experience. One of the things I hired him because he called third down defenses, third down offenses, obviously. He called the red zone. That's what Joe Brady did for us. I think Scott Linehan is a fantastic fit for us. And to replace Joe Burrow, we have a young man in Miles Brennan who has a very strong arm. He's matured under Joe Burrow. I think he's going to be an outstanding quarterback. And,
Coach, as the rumors are flying right now, as you and I are talking about Cam Newton perhaps not being the quarterback for Joe Brady and the Panthers, as it looks like they're going to part ways, and there's a lot of finger pointing as to who's created that. And that Teddy Bridgewater might come in. How do you think, just again, I know this is potentially not your area of staring down an area of expertise, but how do you think Bridgewater would fit into what Joe Brady has done? You at least know what his mind would work like in terms of what quarterback in the NFL might work.
Well, obviously, Joe was with Teddy Bridgewater, so there's a connection there. He worked with him. He saw him grow up under Sean Payton, who's one of the best offensive minds out there. So I can see that connection. I guess that we're assuming that, but I can see that connection, no question.
All right, Coach. Before I do let you go, sir, one more moment, if you don't mind, to just tell anybody that you might have any sway with in an age group that may not be taking the coronavirus seriously enough. Please, I give you the floor on that.
Yeah, this is nothing to play with. I urge everyone to take this coronavirus very serious. Do the necessary things it takes to protect yourself, your family, and our country. Go Tigers.
You're the man, Ed. Thanks for calling in, Coach O. We'll chat soon.
All right, man.
You got it. That's Ed Orgeron right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Jason Lockenfora reporting that the Colts are finalizing a deal with Phillip Rivers.
Hey now.
And that the Panthers are closing in on Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Chris Mortensen saying on Teddy Bridgewater, looks to be about a 3-year, $60 million deal.
Wow. All right, I'll give you my 2 cents on that. Tom Curran, Joe Banner, and Jack Nicklaus all still to come. 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. So everybody out there on our YouTube feed, just know this. There are moments in this job and where you are sitting, Chris, and Don Bowie, our coordinating producer, where a question is asked and the answer is about to be given, and you're hearing that the answer is potentially newsworthy or sparking a conversation. And then the phone line goes away.
That was hysterical.
And you're like, damn it. Now, do you think when he said Tom Brady, like his cheek got on the phone and hit the red button on it?
Maybe.
On his iPhone?
Go Tigers.
He's got a very strong jawline.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so.
Now, you said.
It's possible.
Let's share. We share here. You watched The Blind Side in part of your downtime?
Oh, yeah. I had never seen it before.
What?
Yeah.
That's talk about a blind side.
I know. I'd never seen it. We're just hanging out, the four of us, including Maverick, and it's raining here in LA, and so we're just sitting around flipping channels. It's on. It was like 10 minutes in, and we watched it. It was on regular cable, so there were commercials, but it was fine. And Coach O has a big part because he was the Ole Miss coach that recruited Michael Orr to Ole Miss.
Right.
And Coach O, young, handsome, strong, great performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'd never seen it before.
You know, Sandra Bullock won an Oscar for it, right?
Sarah said that, and I was like, really? For this of all movies?
I mean.
Well, the only reason why she won is because somebody got snubbed for Best Supporting Actor and helped in her performance, Nick Saban.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing an LSU sweater, if I'm not mistaken.
He was the LSU coach then. Philip Fulmer was in it. He's still the.
See, that's the thing is,
all these old coaches.
It's what I love about.
Because it was 2008.
It's what I love about sports movies with cameos when you go and revisit them.
Oh yeah.
Like, when was the last time you watched Space Jam?
Oh, it's been a while.
Okay,
Probably
so
5-6 years.
With younger kids in my household, and one day you will show Cage Space Jam.
Sure.
Okay, and kids love it. And then, you got to explain to your children who Sean Bradley is.
Bugsy Bogues.
Cedric Ceballos.
Right.
Okay.
Ooh.
That right there. Del Harris was the coach of the Lakers. Like, and where you see that again.
Yeah.
And it also, we have had conversations and through the history of the show about what's a sports movie, what isn't, what's technically a sports movie. As you know, I don't believe Rocky is a sports movie. It's a love story.
Right.
The Naked Gun. The last 30 minutes of the Naked Gun is baseball.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And it's people would put that in the category of
a baseball movie.
No, a sports movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the last half hour is totally spoofing baseball. From the umpire, the way the umpire just,
and like Reggie Jackson
shows off. Reggie Jackson must kill the queen.
Right.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
And OJ's in it, obviously.
OJ's in it. Meeting a proper finish,
yes.
as far as I'm concerned.
Indeed.
Spoiler alert. And then you see in the booth the announcers that are calling the game. All right.
Right. Is it Dick Enberg?
Dick Enberg, I believe Vitale.
Right.
I think.
And Vitale doing baseball.
Mel Allen.
Right.
Okay. Dr. Joyce Brothers as well, I think was one of the announcers.
That's right.
And the reason why I think I know, not just because I maintain stuff that's totally useless to maintain, but that was thrown at me a lot when the first time it was announced that me and Kurt and Mooch and Irv were going to do the booth. People would start tweeting the 5-man booth from Naked Gun to me.
But a huge booth. Tim McCarver.
Yep.
Kurt Gowdy.
Okay.
Mel Allen, Dick Enberg, Dick Vitale, Jim Palmer.
And Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Joyce Brothers. Yeah.
I mean, great movies.
That's a great movie.
So that's what I love. I love when there's sports
both.
movies and cameos that you revisit it. So Coach O is the Ole Miss coach.
The USC
now the
marching
LSU
band?
coach, who was at the time Nick Saban.
Yes.
Right? And Nick Saban, now the Alabama coach, whose dominance of LSU finally just ended thanks to Coach O. The Blind Side.
What's funny, in the movie, Sandra Bullock tells Coach O that she hears Saban's going to the NFL.
Fantastic.
Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show.
To end it, the two of them together. Yes. I mean, we'll never see this run again, Jim.
Brady's pass, it's intercepted and returned for a touchdown by Logan Ryan, the former Patriot. He didn't drop it this time.
Yeah.
The last pass in Tom Brady's New England Patriot career is a pick six to be one and done in the first round of the playoffs. Who would have thought that?
Yikes.
And he'll be able to rewrite the fact that it's not going to be his last pass of his career. Will it be as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer or a Los Angeles Charger? I think the Chargers are going to outbid the Bucs. And if it's money and it's like
do you
prestige,
think it's about money though?
I have no idea. And that's why we're going to have Tom on here. Have we come close to understanding this at all?
Nope.
No. What did I say? I said so we're going to have Tom Curran on here to talk about. Did I say we're having Tom Brady on here to talk about? That would be
No
great.
idea.
Tom Curran.
Diana Rossini of ESPN just said she was been told New England was never interested in Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay. 844-204-RICH. Let's take some phone calls here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who's been waiting the longest? Jamie in Iowa has. Let's take Jamie's phone call. What's up, Jamie?
How you doing, Rich?
What's going on, man?
Thanks for the outlet to talk about something else other than what's going on right now.
My pleasure. If I can do it, I'll do it.
Yes, and one reason I don't want Tom Brady to go to the Chargers, I have a friend that's been a Chargers fan his whole life, and he's suffered enough with Phillip Rivers. I don't think he's getting anything more than namesake. You're not really gaining anything there. Plus, I know you've said it before that your kids will be excited if Tom Brady goes there. But I say this with the utmost respect to you and your kids. I'm only worried about my child, and she was a Bengals fan, and thank God that's over. But then as me being a lifelong Cowboys fan, she went and broke my heart and said her team is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh my gosh, Jamie. You know what? It's amazing. You just got to raise them right and let them make their own decisions, and then obviously have to live with it as a parent, right?
Oh, and I thought I did, and she does so good with everybody else. But I guess her dad's feelings don't matter.
You take care of yourself, Jamie. You be well. You and your family be healthy. Yeah. Hey, man. He comes to Los Angeles, and the Chargers. The Chargers break hearts. The Chargers always have something happen to them where the trapdoor opens up.
They're going to fill seats.
Similar to Jets. Similar to the Jets. But
that would fill that stadium.
Do you have a poll question over there, Chris? Have we?
Yeah, I just threw it out this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Who wins the AFC East?
Oh, you like that one?
It's wide open now. Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots.
The Jets got George Fant. Hey, everybody, look. Hey, everybody. New general manager. Let's go get a former basketball player and see how he'll work on our offensive line. George Fant, everybody. Jetfant. Fant. Oh, the Bills got Stephon Diggs. Hey, man. Bills smell blood in the water, baby.
They are circling.
Oh,
Feeling
yeah.
themselves, man.
Bills feel it. Time is right. Tom's gone. Guy who's beating our brains in 90% of the time. By the way, that might be underestimating the actual percentage of wins that he's had against the Bills.
Stand by.
Okay?
It might be.
This is it.
Stand by.
He's out. We're in. We've got the young quarterback who's got the major upside, right?
They're there.
We've got the team that made the playoffs last year, right? We got that going on.
Tom Brady against the Bills is 32-3.
Okay.
Wow.
Let me do the math real quick.
Yeah, Jim Kelly tweeting out. I love this. With all things, all that's going on.
91.4%.
Jim Kelly. God, do I love Jim Kelly. Let me read off this tweet. With all that's going on in the world today, two very important things. One, stay safe and practice social distancing. Again, people like Jim Kelly are the ones who can be greatly affected if he's infected. So do it for Jim. Do it for Jack Nicklaus in hour 3. And then number 2, stay out of the AFC East, Tom Brady.
I mean, that's great.
At the Bills Mafia.
That's awesome.
Tom Brady hasn't lost to the Bills since 2014.
Wow.
And that was a week 17 game that he only played half the game.
By the way,
so that quick.
By the way, if the Bucs play the Patriots, that means they'll also play the Bills.
The Bucs actually don't play the Patriots this year.
That's what I thought. They don't? Remember I wrong?
They don't. The Bucs play the Chargers this year.
My bad. All right, let's take one more phone call right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Matt in Minnesota. What's up, Matt?
Morning, guys. Before I get to Brady, I just wanted to point something out. Rich, I enjoyed your reference earlier about the Yankees bullpen, the Mendoza, Rivera, Wetland.
Yes, we were talking about that. Just want to say we were talking about that on our when this great radio station that airs us. When we go to break, we have conversations on our YouTube feed, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. That's what we're talking about. But go for it.
I love that stuff because we've been seeing a lot of the back in the old days on TV lately.
Yep.
And recently, the last 2 days, I saw the Laker-Celtic 30 for 30, which is a ball to see the old days. And then last night, the NC State Jimmy V one came on. I couldn't turn it off, of course. I love seeing that stuff. So that's one positive here. So I appreciate that baseball reference. But guys, I have to come in and admit that I was wrong. When I first called into you guys a couple of weeks ago, I went off on you guys. There's not 8 teams. He's not going anywhere. I was wrong. I still don't think there was 8 teams. I don't think he's going to Tampa. It's got to be the Chargers. They have the best roster. But here's my new prediction. And as a fellow Michigan fan, Rich, I was thinking I should sing a little bit of Hail to the Victors because I was so wrong, but I'm not going to ruin the show with that.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. Look,
here's my prediction. I don't want this to happen, you guys. I love Brady. He's one of my 3 of my all-time favorite Michigan players. You guys, I don't think not only does he not get to the Super Bowl, he's not going to win one. I don't think he gets there. I just don't think he's that same quarterback anymore. I don't mean to be negative because I'm going to be rooting for whoever he goes to, but I don't think he's that piece. I'm not saying that he's not going to be better than what Rivers did last year if he goes to L.A., but that's my prediction. You guys, thanks for being on. We need this stuff. Stay safe. Love you guys.
Thanks again, Matt. That's Matt in Minnesota.
Be well, brother.
Bless Matt. He's like, I was so wrong about Brady. Now let me make a blanket statement about Brady. You didn't learn your lesson, Matt. Hey, just to bring this whole hour full circle, you never know. We don't know what Tom's been thinking. And also, you never knew what happened from pick 199, and look what happened. And the one thing you do know, welcome to the rest of us, New England Patriot fans. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right now.
By the way, you're saying that assuming that they don't have a plan, that Jarrett Stidham's going to be the starter and they're going to go 5-11.
No. Chris, you're not. Did you not hear what I had to say? It's never going to be the same.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Whatever you bring in, whether it's Cam
Richie,
or it's anybody who brings in.
You say all the time you're a native New Yorker. This is the New Yorker in you kind of relishing. Everyone's got a foot on the Pat's grave, forgetting that Matt Castle won 11 games.
And totally understandable. And Bill, you trust for good reason. He's a GOAT. Of course you're going to have a plan. You're going to figure it out. Of course. You'll still be better than most. You might win the division. You might even beat the Bills. You might even win a playoff game. You might even make the Super Bowl next year. I get it. But you'll never have this again. Never.
Yeah, that's
in a way that nobody's ever had it. The only people who might be sensing it right now are in Baltimore, and they're definitely feeling it right now in Kansas City. You struck lightning, and you also got a terrific coach who's young enough to stick there and maybe put together a decade of dominance.
20 years of dominance.
John Harbaugh can do that, but it's over. Welcome to the rest of us. You lightning struck in a bottle, 2 decades of amazing performances in which your quarterback was the perfect extension for your coach and franchise. Perfect. Perfect. Now then, if Brady goes to the Bucs, looks like we're going to have a couple years of Breeze versus Brady twice a year. That, Tom Curran, Joe Banner, and your calls, hour 2. Go for it. What do you got? What are we doing right here, Don Bowie? Hello, YouTube fans in the wormhole. Right? Our 454s. Oh, my gosh. While we're social distancing right now, let's have a guy who came in our studio who knows all about society and what's right and what's wrong. Somebody who likes to socially distance himself from people like Susie Essman. The great Larry David in studio. This is a lot of fun. Check it out. Larry David, we've done this before with you.
Yeah.
I've got 3 social situations. You are the judge and jury as to what is done.
Okay.
The first one is destination weddings. Okay.
It's already funny.
Destination weddings. I say to my wife, we're going to a destination wedding. We should not give a present because my presence is my present. What do you say, Larry David?
First of all, where is the wedding? How far is it?
Another country.
Okay, you don't even go. You don't go. You don't go.
But it's a close family friend.
I don't care. I am not flying 14 hours on a plane to somebody's wedding. I'm not going to do that.
What the distance from your house that you would
An hour
consider?
and a half by car. That's it.
Here's social situation number 2 for you, Larry David.
Sure.
So you're going into somebody's house for, let's say, the fight, the Mayweather-McGregor fight. This happened to one of our producers, Ken Tulo, okay? They brought desserts. Fight ends. Nobody's touched the desserts. They like these desserts. Is it okay to take the desserts home?
It's
a perishable.
You're bringing it to the host, right?
That's true.
The host saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It's different if the host didn't see it, then you could sneak out with it.
So if the host never saw it, if you placed it on the table and there's no note, that's when you could take it.
If you think you're not going to get caught, then you could take it.
All right, the last one for you, Larry, LD, shoes off on a plane. Do you have a problem with somebody on a plane?
I have a big problem with it. Yeah. You know, don't make yourself. It's not your house. All right, you're outside. You're in public. I don't want to see your socks. And God forbid you have a little odor down there. Who needs that, right?
And I don't even want to know if you do have it.
Exactly. It's close quarters. Come on. Take a couple of minutes. Keep your shoes on.
What we're gonna do right here is go back into time.
Previously on the Rich Eisen Show.
Peter King's on right now, and I don't know if you saw what Adam Schefter just reported. DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona.
DeAndre Hopkins is an 8th-year player. There is no position in this draft that has as many good players in it as wide receiver. The most important element of this trade is certainly not David Johnson. It's that 38th pick overall. That is why Bill O'Brien did this deal.
Another Rich Eisen Show is coming at you right now.
Y'all ready for this?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
We have no idea what's going to look like 5 weeks from now. None. Because things are going in light years, in just minutes.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com.
This feels like 9/11 to me. Totally know it's different between terrorism and pandemic, but I'm just talking about the way we're all feeling as Americans.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Stay positive and don't freak out.
Earlier on the show, LSU head coach Ed Orgeron. Coming up, NBC Sports Boston Patriots insider Tom Curran. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show is on the air. Tom Curran's going to be joining us shortly here with the latest on the Tom Brady front. As we all know, Tom Brady woke us up in day 2 of free agency to say that he spent last night, well, he didn't say this in his Instagram post, but apparently he spent last night telling Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, what he told us all today on Instagram, that he will not be returning to the New England Patriots, that his football journey will be taking place elsewhere. Adam Schefter just tweeted out what about the Bucs, Chris Brockman? You just told me something during the commercial break. If you want to pop that back up there here on our radio station live feed and youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show live stream feed. You can call us 844-204-RICH. Have I tap danced long enough for you to get that tweet back up? Okay,
Adam Schefter just said Bucs GM Jason Light acknowledged there is interest in Tom Brady. The two sides spoke on Monday, but there has been no conversation today, no deal in place. Quote, we're waiting to see what Tom decides, just like everybody else.
Okay. And Tom Curran's going to be joining us in just a moment here to give us the latest on that. In the meantime, I want to hit this subject. Anybody that's out there that says players shouldn't go get theirs whenever they can, you know, there should be loyalty to a team or whatever, or anybody out there thinking that about Tom Brady even right now, know this. Cam Newton, first overall selection of the Carolina Panthers, won an MVP, took the team to the Super Bowl. He was dominant that year.
15-1.
Okay, again, everything that you saw from Lamar Jackson this year, in case you need that sort of information, everything that he did this year, Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton did more of that year. He was amazing and bigger, more physical. Okay, and
incredible.
In that year in which he won the MVP, took his team to the Super Bowl, won playoff games. And I understand what happened in the Super Bowl. There was a fumble on the ground, and he kind of like stepped at it.
Didn't really go for it.
I get it.
Yeah.
And he didn't handle the post-game press conference all that well. I mean, we can go up and down about Cam Newton sometimes, but it's all ups. And the Carolina Panthers went all in on him, and they did pay him a ton of stuff, a ton of money. But he did what he had to do. And now a new owner comes in, hires a new coach who brings in a new offensive coordinator, and these guys have been given free rein to do what they want to do by the owner. And it's clear that Cam Newton is not part of what they want to do. And so, again, loyalty is a two-way street. So anybody out there that's wondering whether a player should be loyal to a team, it's a two-way street. Things change. Things change. And you got to get yours when you get yours and when you can. And now Cam's on, I guess, a free agency tour of his own, looking for a new team. Who wants Cam Newton? I know you New England fans you're raising your hand over there, Chris.
Absolutely.
We'll get to Tom and Curran in 1 second. But I just want to say this. In the same way that Bill O'Brien is hearing the howls from his fan base about trading away DeAndre Hopkins for a second-round choice and David Johnson, who is 3 years removed from being the best fantasy football running back and run pass option running back in the league. And they just get just a 2 and that guy back for DeAndre Hopkins. And Stephon Diggs nets 4 draft choices, including a first. And Stephon Diggs is terrific, but DeAndre Hopkins is on the path to the Hall of Fame already, 8 years in. In the same way that Bill O'Brien's basically telling everybody, I got a plan here, trust me, Matt Rule better be ready for the same thing in Carolina. Because whoever comes in, if they don't win and they're 6-10 or 5-11 or 7-9, Teddy Bridgewater, who's dynamite, and I love him, and they might be able to put something together, it's going to take some time. And the owner needs his patience, but the fan base is going to be all over Matt Rule. And he better be ready because this is what he's owning right now. Just wanted to say that. Joining us now from NBC Sports Boston, we sent up the signal for him, knowing that Tom Brady would be newsworthy, and sure enough, that actually happened. Tom Curran joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. There's a signal. Tom Curran joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show the day that Tom Brady says his farewells via Instagram to the New England Patriots. Tom, how's New England taking it so far?
New England weeps. Rich, New England weeps. And I am not in a good spot sell-wise at the moment. I will be in a great spot in about 14 seconds.
Okay.
But such is the nature of the day. How's that sound? Better?
Okay, fine. Let me tap dance for 10 seconds. Tom Curran, clearly on a daily commute where he knows that there's a dead spot for a phone call, and we all know it. We all deal with it. We all got it.
I'm back.
So when you say New England weeps, what do you mean by that, Tom?
I think that there has very much been a reluctance and denial that whether it's me or Jeff Darlington or anyone reporting on this over the course of time. I mean, I wrote in December that unless there was a radical course change, wrote about 2,000 words on it, that Tom Brady was going to be a free agent. And I got hooted pretty resoundingly by most Patriots fans as being doom and gloom and partaking in hot takes and just looking for clicks. And it's sadly, I mean, I've covered the team for a long time. I don't want Tom Brady to go anyplace. I grew up here. It's been fun. I don't want to see the Jarrett Stidham era. But I think so many people have tamped down the reality of the situation and believed or preferred to believe that everything between Tom and Bill has always been terrific. And every time they even stare at each other, it's supposed to be a rebuttal that there's even anything untoward between them in terms of a philosophical difference. It's not true. They have a deep philosophical divide on how to proceed. The atmosphere wasn't what Brady was enjoying. Bill has, over the course of time, Rich, despite the fact he sat in the room with him, I found that, to me, I just used that in the story, actually. Sorry to babble here, but
go for it.
You know, as you saw Bill and Tom across the table from you, and I watched it on TV, it reminded me just of how much Tom really covets the validation of Bill, and how much, as he spoke about how Peyton Manning had so much control with the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, and Brady said, yeah, I never had that. How much he felt as if his relationship with Bill was always going to be coach-employee. Even after 20 years, Bill was not going to deviate from that. And he was never going to get the bouquets verbally or otherwise thrown to him because enough other people were doing that in Bill's mind. That Tom didn't need it from Bill, too. But maybe he did. For of all the anecdotes, Rich, for Tom Brady to seize upon the one from the day after Super Bowl 36 when Belichick turns to him and says, you had a pretty good season. Yes, it's funny, and yes, it is indicative of who Bill is. But the fact that Tom holds on to that, keeps it in his pocket, and rolls it around in the palm of his hand, remembering it, says something as well.
So when it all came down to it, after 20 years, Tom doesn't want to be with Bill anymore, essentially, is what you're saying, is how this all played out over the last 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. I mean, timeline all this for me is we're again showing on our youtube.com /Rich Eisen show feed the very flowery, for certainly for him, statement from Bill Belichick and obviously Robert Kraft from the Patriots today.
Tom finally threw his hands up and said, I'm going to stop looking for the hug and the commitment that I've been dying to get from this person in this team and this organization that I feel that I deserve. So while, and I know Robert Kraft has framed it today, at least in other conversations, I spoke to him and he did not frame it this way with me, but did frame it as if this is Tom's decision. Well, as I wrote earlier, his decision to leave is the same as yours and my decision to get out of the car after it's parked in the driveway, put in park, and the engine's turned off. There's really nothing else you can do but get out. I mean, that's it. The ride's over. Tom, I think, has had that made very clear to him in 2017 when he asked for an extension prior to the trade of Jimmy Garoppolo, certainly after the trade of Jimmy Garoppolo when no extension came, and instead there were just incentives of which Brady hit none. Then prior to the 2019 season, again asking for an extension, same thing as Drew Brees, being told that he'd probably get that, the 2 years, $25 million a year deal, and then instead getting nothing, to the point where Brady had to intimate that, you know what, I might be walking out of camp here, and then they gave him a raise. So those were the elements that led Tom Brady to decide to leave. So was it his decision? Or was it just, okay, why would I continue to wait? I mean, do the Patriots expect Tom Brady to legitimately open negotiations with them? Because that seems to be what they were intimating, that they thought he was supposed to tell them what he wanted when he was the free agent. So I don't see that as being Tom Brady's decision. I see that as him reading the writing on the wall and saying, okay, well, I'm going to head out now. They go, okay, we're going to see you. We loved this. This was great. Yes, it was.
Well, I guess
forever.
Now, Tom, I mean, just to I guess to throw in perspective from my own, universe. When I started at ESPN, I thought I'd be there forever. Literally, it was my identity. It was the people who I came from Northern California. Screw it. I'll complete the analogy. Graduated from Michigan. Was working in Northern California at a small market station in Redding, California. I was like pick 199, like they ESPN found me there and gave me a platform and gave me a career and gave me an opportunity in which I tried to be as great as I possibly could. I was a competitive son of a bitch. I still am right now. I just said those words, so, but I parted ways because circumstances were created by management that left me no choice in my mind but to leave, and right. I think that's what you're saying right now.
Yeah. So, Rich, did you decide to leave? Yes. But did you decide to leave after it was made clear to you that you weren't part of the long-term solution? Perhaps. I don't know what your situation was.
Right.
I think that Tom has felt as if, look, I'm human duct tape here. I got 6 Super Bowls. I throw for 505 against the Eagles. We win another one last year. And the next thing I know, I show up for camp. Not only do I have no raise, but I'm throwing to Gunnar Olszewski and Jacoby Myers. And I know by the end of the year, after we have an ass year of statistics, that they're going to look at me and say, we can't give you any more money. So what's he supposed to do? Go get an offer from Tampa Bay, run back to the Patriots and say they're offering me $29 million a year for the next 3 years. What do you think? And they tell him, and Bill says, yeah, good for you. No. Just I try and make it as amicable as possible today. I think that I really hope that happens, even though this industry doesn't really want to allow that to happen. But I just hope it can be amicable. Philosophical differences.
Well, I mean, Belichick's last line of his statement was exactly what you're saying. I guess he didn't say enough of, where he said sometimes in life it takes some time to pass before truly appreciating something or someone, but that has not been the case with Tom. He is a special person and the greatest quarterback of all time. It sounds like you're saying you didn't hear that enough or ever. Is that what you're saying?
I just spoke to somebody very close to Tom who said, if he said stuff like that more frequently, he wouldn't be leaving. Now, again, and I've said this a number of times to folks here and maybe on this show as well, there are folks around Tom who I think sometimes get emotional and might overstate. So I tamp down sometimes what their statements are. I don't know if that would be the case or not. If Bill told him every day with notes in his lunch that you're the greatest quarterback of all time, if it'd be any different or not. But it is what he kind of sought was just, hey, look, he might be the greatest quarterback of all time, But does Bill think he's going to be the greatest quarterback at $25 million a year with $13.5 million in dead money in 2020? I don't think so.
All right, before I let you go then, Tom, what's the plan B? As you have pointed out, the Patriots clearly have seen the possibility of this happening. They sense it. They had to know it. And Belichick is not a guy that isn't prepared to the nth degree to his teeth. So what is the plan B here now? Is it going into the season with Jarrett Stidham, drafting somebody, signing somebody in free agency? What do you think for me? Or trading for somebody? There's Cam. There's Andy Dalton potentially. I mean, what's the plan B?
My reflexive what the hell reflexive anticipation? Just say what you expect, Mom. What I expect to happen is Jarrett Stidham. That's what I expect to happen.
Really?
I mean, bring Andy Dalton in to do what? Put your hands at 10-2 and keep you in between the white lines. I mean, he's not going to win you games. And if it's going to cost $10, $12, $13 million to do it, and you add on Brady's money too, that's 2 or 3 other good players you could probably have, or renegotiate. So go ahead with Jarrett Stidham. Now, I could be wrong. They might go do that. And when we talk about Bill's planning, it is generally exquisite, but that doesn't explain why there's no tight end from the roster for the last 5 years either, and why no tight end succession plan was in place for Rob Gronkowski. We could see that coming too. So I don't know where they're going to go. I do know they still have the best head coach in the NFL and the best culture for winning in the NFL. But I think it's going to be a tough road, and they have a lot of work ahead of them in terms of rebuilding the entire roster.
And in terms of that, Kyle Van Noy's now a Dolphin. He hit it big. And is Tooney there to stay? What do you think is happening right now?
I believe that Joe Tooney was franchised to keep him off the market from teams who would otherwise try and grab him, i.e. the Jets. Keep him in New England. Make sure you work out a long-term deal, drop his cap number, but I do not think that he was signed to the franchise tender in order to trade.
Okay. And the poll question, ask it of Tom E. Curran of NBC Sports Boston. Christopher, go for it.
Tommy, I'm so sad. Who wins
I know.
It sucks. Who wins the AFC East this year?
Yeah,
Buffalo Bills.
You believe so, huh? Really, Tom? Really? Really?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox.
I know, right?
John Brown.
Yeah, I know. Ross. No, I know. And then you got the Singletary and obviously Josh Allen in year 3. This is
Sean McDermott can coach.
This could be really happening right now. A changing of the guard in the AFC East. Is that really what's happening?
Maybe they should go after Brady.
All right. You take care of yourself, Tom. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. You take care, bud.
So this is it for us, I would guess.
No. Things change very fast. I may be calling you literally tonight to say, how about tomorrow or Thursday? Come on now. Let's be honest.
All right, buddy.
Take care of yourself. You got it. That's Tom Curran. That's it. NBC Sports Boston. Check him out on his podcast as well.
Bills lead the way on that poll, by the way, 60%. Patriots, 21%.
Where are the Jets?
5%.
Hey, you know what? You 5%. You 5% hang in there. Because George Fant's coming, baby. And he's going to protect Sam Darnold. I don't know from what.
I mean,
mono?
Can't catch it again.
Is that the way it works?
Is that true?
I think once you have it once.
You know what? I feel better now about social distancing.
Rich,
infectious disease expert / audio executive,
media,
Mike Del Tufo.
I probably know more. I watch
all
more.
All right. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Joe Banner's going to be joining us next. I think he's got some interesting things to say about the DeAndre Hopkins maneuver, to say the least. Man. And what that means with Diggs. And there's so many different moves. Phillip Rivers going to Indianapolis, and it seems like Bridgewater is going to maybe Carolina. Drew Brees is re-signed for 2 years, $50 million. That's Jimmy Garoppolo money for a GOAT to stay put. Not a bad move.
That's a good point.
844-204-RICH, number to dial. We've got your phone calls. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We're going to empty those phone banks. That is a fact. With Jack Nicklaus joining us at the top of hour number 3 as well. Let's talk about the Honda Pilot right now from my friends at Honda. Want me to let you know that the 2020 Honda Pilot is here and ready to help get you ready for all of your needs. Again, many of us might be just planning a road trip to get out of the house, go to a spot with just your family, into a place where you could just lock down and be safe and be healthy. And the Pilot has got seating for up to as many as 8. How about them apples? And you can load it full of gear and get on the road and get there safely thanks to the Honda Sensing suite of safety and driver assistive technologies. Keep your head in the game with that 8-inch display audio touchscreen as well. You can also hook up as many as 5 devices into the Honda Pilot to get you all safe and sound with your kids doing it and doing it with peace and quiet. My gosh. So hurry to your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Pilot today and tell them I sent you. The Rich Eisen Show sent you. Joe Banner, when we come back here on the Rich Eisen Show, his 2 cents on so many interesting subject matters. That's next. Don't go anywhere. Back here. What's going on? You want TJ? You want to come in here?
Good reminder by Andrew Siciliano just now.
It
you know
is.
where the Super Bowl is being played this year?
Tampa.
Tampa, Florida.
Oh, boy.
First home team ever to play in the Super Bowl?
You know what? And again, the whole idea that Brady doesn't, that the Chargers have better weapons than the Bucs.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up, man.
Dude. Evans and Godwin.
Yeah, buddy.
First Pro Bowl teammates at the wide receiver position since Anquan Bolden and Larry Fitzgerald.
And by the way, don't forget that rumor from like a month ago that Tom Brady has been talking to Antonio Brown this whole time.
That may just him being a good guy that teammates are forever and that, he's just trying to, no. I don't buy that Brady's a package deal with Antonio Brown.
No, but
that
if Brady gets there and he tells
that,
Bruce Arians, hey, look, he's going to behave. Let's bring in Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he's going to behave? Really? No, thank you. I say pound sand.
All right.
That's what I say. We don't need that. We don't need that.
If you're a Bucs fan, you want it?
And we don't need... No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to have anybody in your house that's going to blow it all up. You just don't want it. You don't need the distraction. You don't need it. Okay? And he hasn't played in a year. And he may be Hall of Fame worthy.
Maybe.
But he's a Hall of Fame pain in the ass and headache.
It's true.
And you want... If you're owning a team, Chris, let's be honest here. You want to have your fan base and your local fan base and your local media talking about to him in your introductory press conference, or have people go and Google him barking at his mother of his children.
I totally get it. I'm just
Did
saying
you see that
I'm
video?
just saying that was a report.
You want to own that as an owner of your team just because he's got 9 years of great Hall of Fame resume on it, and Tom Brady says, I can control him? He couldn't do it in New England, could he? I want no piece of that.
People deserve second, third
Do you
chances.
think Tom Brady's telling right now the Bucs and the Chargers that in order to sign me, I'm a package deal with Antonio Brown?
No,
Okay.
but if Tom gets there and says, hey, let's call Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah, and that I can vouch for him, and
Right.
that might sway somebody, but when it comes down to it and I'm an owner of a team, I'm like, what else is planned? What else can we do? And you got Godwin and Evans, you don't need him. What do you have over there, TJ? You're on the Callaway corner over there. What do you got over there?
Just hanging out here at the Callaway corner. Rich, and I got a question for you guys. A lot of people never thought that Tom Brady obviously would leave New England, which brought up a question today that I had. Of these 4 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, whose departure from their original team was most surprising? We're going to go with John Unitas, Brett Favre, Joe Montana, or Joe Willie Namath. Which one of those was the most surprising to you guys?
I got to tell you, man. I've only lived through one of them. That Brett Favre leaving Green Bay.
That was crazy.
Holy
That was crazy.
crap.
Montana was young.
That
there.
was so wild.
But Montana got injured, and then
He
Steve
got
Young had a
hurt,
great year, and then they,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
So it's kind of.
But with
Favre
Favre, they
was nuts.
drafted a guy to replace him, so it was going to happen.
But it was also every year was like Favre watch.
We were going crazy.
One year,
Scott Hansen.
And it was like I'm thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it. One year after his final game, it was like
he gave like a goodbye.
Dude, it was an hour till he came out. Like he was chatting with Mike Sherman, and it was coming out. Hey, he's chatting with Mike Sherman. It was an hour till he came out and then said, I don't know. And the Packers are like, okay, it was annual of like, you got to let us know by a certain time because we've got a plan and all that.
Early.
And then one year,
the golf course,
the Packers and Bears finished up on Sunday Night Football, and it was New Year's Eve, and all of us were like, damn it. We had to call everybody in our houses, in our families, and say, put our appearance at your New Year's Eve or our New Year's Eve party on hold. And I'll tell the rest of the story in the next segment. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We're going to get Joe Banner on the horn in just a second here. Let's go back to our phone lines. Jeff in Detroit's been hanging on forever. How you been, Jeffrey? Everybody healthy and hale in your world, hopefully?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So hopefully it's the same way you guys is way. I miss you fellas. I'll get to check you out on YouTube now, which is super duper awesome.
Thank you.
Listen, am I going crazy, or is this nightmare starting again? I wake up this morning, I'm looking at the free agent moves, and the Lions sign a bag-up lineman that only started like 3 games in the last 2 years or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, am I missing something?
You know what? I'll tell you what, and we're going to have Joe Banner joining us in a second, Jeff. If your team's not terribly active in free agency, I wouldn't be so concerned about it. I mean, you look at the teams that are active in free agency, and those are the ones that are constantly active in free agency, and the ones that aren't, they might dabble a little bit here, but the ones that aren't are the ones that go back to the playoffs every year. Now, I'll tell you this, though. The Lions are in a perfect position 3rd overall. They're in a perfect position 3rd overall. The 2 options are Chase Young drops to you because the Redskins choose Tua, or they're the ones who get somebody to trade up to go get him, and Chase Young drops to you, or you're the ones that everybody's going to be calling up for Tua, or you just get Jeff Okudah, right? I think the Lions are in a good spot.
I'm just hoping that they just don't go find that banana peel to slip on. That's the only thing that I'm hoping.
Well, I'm just saying, just to use the whole analogy, don't fall for the banana in the free agency tailpipe. Then I appreciate the call. That's our guy, Jeff in Detroit. Former front office executive for the Eagles and Browns, and one of our favorites to ask questions to about what's going on in the business of the NFL, Joe Banner, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Joe?
That was classic, Rich. That was such a classic piece.
Do you agree with what I'm saying, though, right there?
Yeah, listen, I also agree with him. They have made a couple of moves, and I'm not sure they were all that great, but you're absolutely right. The teams that win consistently are dabbling in free agency and not building their team around it. So, but I loved hearing just kind of that perspective of the world is ending. They didn't sign any free agents 24 hours into it.
Hey, you know how fandom works. I give you the floor on the DeAndre Hopkins and for David Johnson trade. What'd you think of when the Texans and the Cardinals pulled that one off, Joe?
I think I've said this about the last 4 moves they've made. I just don't really get it. I mean, they're now in a situation where they don't have cap room and they don't have draft picks. And so what happens is you lose one of the top players, one of the top difference makers in the entire game, and you don't even make sure you get the proper compensation back. So, I mean, I've been questioning this for a while. This is a reflection of kind of the moves they've made in the last few years. They've made some short-term decisions that have allowed them to stay competitive in the division, but not really in the league. And I think this is, predictable. And they lost, in my mind, one of the top couple of players at a position that can potentially make a huge difference.
So, I mean, does this happen if the coach and general manager are not one and the same, do you think?
I hear this, and I'm a big believer that there isn't a structure that defines success in the NFL. It's who do you empower, and are they good at what you give them to do? So I don't think Bill O'Brien has demonstrated the ability to be good at making personnel decisions, managing the building of the team, managing the cap, and all the other intricacies that go with it. But I can point to teams that have general managers that, are respected or recruited heavily to get the jobs, and frankly, they've made a lot of mistakes. So I differentiate. In this case, I don't think there's any chance the model is working or will work. But I don't think that's a function of the structure as much as it is, Bill has demonstrated the ability to at least be a solid coach and not the ability to be better at more than that. And some guys, I worked with Andy Reid, as you know, for 14 years, he could do both, and it wasn't even a challenge.
So the question I have
I
is...
don't think Bill is the right person to give that kind of range of responsibility to.
Interesting. I mean, so maybe there's something else. There's got to be something else at play here. I mean, why a two and take on David Johnson's contract? There has to be something that certainly when Stephon Diggs is, who's a terrific younger receiver in his own right, but isn't on the career Canton path so far like DeAndre Hopkins is 8 years in, and DeAndre Hopkins is 27, right? And right. So how does this? It just doesn't compute when Diggs nets a team of 4 picks, including a first rounder. How does that happen? Walk me through that, Joe.
So the only explanation, and of course we're guessing, they're not going to tell us, but it's reasonable guessing. When you have a cap problem and you have Tunsil and a quarterback about to break the bank at both positions, Tunsil, because he's very good young, and you traded for him without getting an extension, shame on you. Watson, because he's very good, and that's what quarterbacks make it, and he's eligible for an extension. Then you find yourself in a position where you have to move a guy like this. Now, that doesn't explain why they didn't get anything for him of the value that we think we should. That's just inexplicable. But why they had to move him, if he's sitting there saying, listen, I'm not coming back into camp unless you give me a new deal, and you don't have cap room, and you've got these 2 guys that you have to sign, then you have to make a move to get rid of a guy like this. Now, they took on a decent salary in Johnson, but they can get out of that fairly quickly if they need to. Mm-hmm. If they redid a deal with Hopkins, they have to increase the money. They have to give him a new signing bonus. They have new prorations, and they can't get out of the deal so easily. So I think the origination of this was that they couldn't afford to give him a new contract, and he was adamant about getting it. Whatever other tensions there are there's always that kind of stuff. You get a player of this caliber, you put up with the tension. So my theory is it all emanates from this lack of draft picks and the lack of cap room. Draft picks can cure cap problems, but if you don't have either, you got a big problem.
Oh, man. And then you got 2 guys that have the hammer, too, right? And Tunsil and Watson.
If I were advising Tunsil, I'd say, why are you reporting without a new deal? All of the top players now, and we've seen it already. We just saw what happened with DeForest Buckner. We saw what happened with Khalil Mack. We saw what happened with Donald. We see what happened with, Zeke Elliott. These top players are getting deals after 3 or 4 years. You're talking about a top player playing one of the most important positions on the team that you just saw them give up 2 1s and a 2 plus other stuff to get. I'm just sitting there saying, I'll come when you give me a new contract, and it will be a record-breaking contract because he has all the leverage now. And that's what the top players are doing. Some of them are doing it quietly, trying to get deals done with their team. Some of them we've seen be much more aggressive and public about it. But that's what they do. And, same with Watson. I mean, if I'm representing a top-tier quarterback right now, I'm not going past the 3rd year of that contract before I'm getting him a new one. And he's been hurt, so it's even more important for him.
Joe Banner, longtime NFL executive, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. This is maybe your 4th, 5th appearance on the show. Love having you on. It seems it's a tradition when you and I talk to talk about the Cowboys paying top dollar at the top of the market. And here we are with Amari Cooper, fresh off a 5-year, $100 million deal. I don't know how much of that is real or what. I give you the floor on paying Dak $33 million per at very least for just this year. This deal with Cooper and Zeke in year 2 of a very expensive deal. That's what you're paying your triplets. Are the Cowboys set up for success in your estimation, Joe?
No, listen, they're going to benefit from the CBA being done and a jump in the cap. But I had a meeting with Carmen Policy when Jeff and I took over the team that was something that affected how we ran the Eagles for a long time. Carmen had a really great way of explaining cap dollars. He referred to them as poker chips. And he said, when I sit down at a poker table, I'm probably going to win about as many hands as the guy next to me. So the only thing that differentiated us, did I bet more on the right hands or the wrong hands? So you want to stretch your poker chips to make as many bets as you possibly can. And if you're waiting to the last minute and handing the player all of the leverage, and you're paying players that are worth, 15, 17, and players that are worth 17 or 18, 20, and quarterbacks that are worth 30 to 32, 33 to 35, you just develop $10 million of fewer poker chips to place bets and try to make sure that you don't win any more often than the guy next to you, but you're actually making more money because you place the bets in the right hands. And I've thought about the cap and all the years I managed it from that perspective from the minute he said it, and that's where the Cowboys are bad. They could be getting more for their money. That's all I mean by that, and they could do it by signing the exact same players earlier.
What do you think's going to happen with Dak? Play on the tag? Come up with a long-term agreement? What do you think is going to happen on that?
This is the mystery. I think I said it in your show a year ago for the first time. Is he lining up to be the next Kirk Cousins? I don't think he was a year ago. I think there was an opportunity to do a deal. We don't know that. We won't know that till we see how he behaves. But, the two tags right now would produce probably a higher average than anybody would give him. There's a small risk, but it's really small. And then he's a young, accomplished quarterback, free for any team in the league to bid on. And, Kirk Cousins wasn't the best quarterback to come along, but he, if you factor in length and structure and guarantees, may have gotten close to the best quarterback contract anybody's seen.
Well, it looks like if he plays everything out with his extension, he'll have 7 straight years of guaranteed money like a baseball player.
Yes.
Right?
And we'll sign a new contract that will be 3 or 4 years long, which will be fully guaranteed. So he could have an entire career of, at least at the time he signed it, fully guaranteed contracts, and we haven't seen that. So, that could be a strategy, or he could just be waiting around. I would be really shocked if $33 million-ish wasn't a good enough average to get it done. I heard a year ago that the problems were around structure as opposed to average. And maybe that's still persisting because, you can say $105 million in guarantees, but when the guarantees kick in, how much is guaranteed on signing makes a huge difference. And he has the leverage to make sure those numbers are what he wants them to be now.
Joe Banner here on the Rich Eisen Show, longtime front office executive for the Eagles and Browns and more. So read the tea leaves about what's happening in Carolina and Cam for me when you're seeing what you're seeing with Carolina bringing in a new coach and giving him a ton of years and bringing in the young coordinator of the moment in Joe Brady and the owner giving them a whole bunch of license to do what they wish. And Cam saying on Instagram today, hey, I never asked for the trade that I've been supposedly given permission to seek. You manipulated the narrative and act like I wanted this. You forced me into this is what he tweeted out or he Instagrammed out. Read that was a response to the Panthers Instagramming out, we've given Cam Newton permission to seek a trade. What are the tea leaves here?
Well, they're really straightforward at this point, and I'm not surprised. I mean, I've been a big proponent, some publicly and a lot privately when people have asked me about head coaches for the last couple of years, that Matt Rule was the top available guy out there. He went 1-11 in the first year at Baylor, and a team called me and asked me, who would you hire? And I said, Matt Rule, and they told me I was out of my mind. And Matt and Bridgewater is what I would predict you'd see. A very smart guy, talking about Bridgewater, who's very accurate, but with some other limitations. So he may turn out to be the guy or not, but that's what fits Matt. He's going to focus on execution. He's going to surround people with a talent. He's going to build 2 lines that can dominate a football game. He's going to be sound strategically. And you can love Cam, but recognize that isn't the description of Cam, but it is the description of Bridgewater. So this doesn't surprise me at all. It seemed like there was kind of peace there, and I kept cautioning people, wait a little longer before you declare, what the outcome is there. I like Bridgewater. We have to see if he can stay healthy. We have to see if he can take his game up to a little bit higher level. But I think you're going to see this is the type of player he's going to build the team with, a really committed guy, a really competitive, hardworking guy, and prioritize that over, maybe the guy that's the biggest stud or maybe harder to manage, at least until he's established a culture that he's comfortable with.
So what if Cam says, screw it, I'm not seeking a trade? Well, what happens? Because they'll have to cut him, right? I mean, they'll have to just let him go, and then he'll be a free agent to do whatever the heck he wants. The problem is many teams might have their jobs filled by then. What are Cam's options here, and where do you think might be the best fit for him, Joe?
So if I'm Cam's agent, I'm going back in and say, listen, we don't want to seek a trade. Can you release us so that there's still at least some empty seats on the bus here? And that's the only way he can get any control over the situation. Of course, what will really happen is the agent will make calls with or without permission, probably has already felt out the market, anticipating at least this was a possibility, and has an idea, what's available and, what's not available. So who knows? It only takes one team, and obviously he's had tremendous success. He's also had kind of a period here where he's had trouble staying healthy, and the last position you want to be sweating out whether a guy can stay healthy or not is your quarterback. But listen, Carolina's going to do that with Bridgewater, so when the situation's right, somebody does that. But if I were the agent, I would say, instead of seeking a trade, can you just release us? And, that will be a tough call for the Panthers. On one hand, they think they have a valuable asset, and they want to get something for it. On the other hand, they don't want to have all this discord early in a new coach's tenure and looking side eyes from some of the players on the team as to, what are you doing here? And may want to just kind of clean it up and move on to the next thing.
I know, and he has been, as advertised, entertaining and iconic. I know when he said that at his first combine, people were like, boy, he's full of it. But, I mean, he's done his duty for the Carolina Panthers. Perhaps they should do that. And maybe perhaps where Brady does not go might be the option for Cam, right? Los Angeles, the Chargers would to say, hey, we got Cam Newton here would be somewhat significant and serving what no doubt would fill their need to let the Los Angeles market know that they've got a big name player. Tampa, I don't know. I mean, you want to talk about no risk it, no biscuit. That's Cam Newton, right? So maybe that would be a fit. Joe?
Yeah, I'm not a huge Winston fan, but I think if you had a choice between Winston and Newton, you may be challenged between somebody with a little more upside. To me, that's Newton. And somebody is Winston, who you're familiar with and has been able to stay healthy, and at least you've got a year in the system. But that would be a difficult choice if you actually, ended up in that situation. It's not going to be a great market for Cam. It's just not that many seats available. Some teams kind of expecting they're going to draft somebody in the top 10 or 15 picks who's not really in the quarterback market, which sounds odd. And health has been an issue here the last couple of years. And as I say, that one position you really hope to have peace of mind, if possible. You'll trade it off for talent. But if possible, is a quarterback position where it's an exception that he gets hurt as opposed to something that's almost predictable.
In the minute I have left, what do you think Belichick's plan B is now that Brady's moving on? What do you think Bill's plan B is?
The rumors are Dalton. And the reason that, Chicago couldn't get him out there was because he wanted to see what happened in New England. I have no idea if those rumors are right. They make sense to me because the one thing I'm sure of is he will focus on somebody that can execute his offense, who he perceives to be kind of smart in a instinctive, intuitive sense. Somebody that will, bring absolutely no, baggage with them whatsoever, strong on a learning curve, strong leader in the locker room. That does kind of sound like Dalton to me. Not that he's the long-term answer necessarily, but he at least fits what they've historically drafted and obviously what they had in Brady. Just a smart, sound guy. Bill, more than anybody, thinks their schemes and their systems and their surroundings can win. He just doesn't want somebody to drag it backwards.
Joe, love the time. Love our chats always. We'll be calling you again really soon because things are moving very, very fast. And stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. You take care.
You too. Great being on.
Right back at you. Joe Banner, at Joe Banner13. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow. All right, we'll come back. Your phone calls, 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on this Rich Eisen show, on this great radio station, a loyal Rich Eisen show radio station, and on our feed, if you want to watch us, youtube.com/Rich Eisen show. Okay, what story was I in the middle of telling? That's now my 50-year-old brain. Remember I was telling a story?
Does
TJ remember that?
The Jets Favre stuff?
Oh, yeah, the Favre stuff. So every year, we were like, the last game of the year was like, is Favre going to announce his retirement or not? What's he going to say? A couple of years, he would just shrug emoji and just say, stay tuned. One year it was Bears, Packers.
On New Year's Eve, right?
New Year's Eve. And all of us at NFL Network were like telling all of our family and friends, hey, we'll be at the party when we can, and we hope, it'll be before the ball drops on the East Coast. We hope we can be there by like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And Favre, this is one of my favorite, God bless Andrea Kramer, who's one of the best in the business. She's a great person. I'm thrilled to call her a friend. She asked him point blank, are you retiring, in the post-game interview? And he goes, nope, I'm not. All of us were like high-fiving. We were like Fred Flintstone, yabba dabba doo, slid down the back of the dinosaur, and we were out. We didn't have to wait for his post-game press conference. I'm not retiring. Staying put. Thank you, Andrea, for getting the answer. I think maybe he wanted to go to his.
That's funny.
His,
probably.
His New Year's Eve party. Out. We were like, oh man,
we're happy.
Honestly, we were watching it and we were sitting there on the post-game show set. Like, asked the question. She asked it. We're like, yes, and he gave an answer. We were like, whoa, yes.
See ya.
Hey. Everybody, here's our post-game show. Even though it's not on our network, we treat everything like it's the Super Bowl here on NFL Network because that's why we're here. That's what we're here for.
That's funny.
Let's go crazy, to use the Prince phrase. I'm putting my glasses on just because I need to see why people in our wormhole think that this is green. Does this look green to you?
No.
It does a little to me.
It's not green.
Definitely dark gray. Come on, man.
That's gray.
I mean, you just on a monitor, things look a little strange. That's why TV adds 10 pounds. TV adds 10 pounds.
We're 100 pounds to me.
By the way, it's definitely going to be the Bucs, right?
I don't know about that.
I'm looking at the schedule. 8 home games, warm weather, Florida. Okay, there are 4 road games, 8 road games. 4 are domes. New Orleans, Las Vegas, Detroit, Atlanta.
Well, again, you got to look more than just down the road for just 1 year. Yeah. You'd have 10 games in supposed terrific conditions, 8 at home and then 2 in a dome on the road.
You got the tax situation in Florida. Can't rule that out. That's a big deal. If he comes to California, that's 13% income tax.
I understand that.
But he's already got businesses here. He doesn't care about that.
Just saying.
Ask LeBron about the convenience.
Maverick Carter told us he can FaceTime anywhere.
I know that, but he still did choose the Los Angeles Lakers, did he not?
Yeah, but that was obvious.
But the Lakers are not the Chargers. I understand that.
I mean, that new stadium with Brady.
Well, he doesn't care about that. He wants to win.
If you're looking
all that matters is winning.
If you're, you know how teams always, when they let go of a coach, they go in the opposite direction, right?
Right.
They hire against type.
Right.
Right.
If you've been an offensive for a long time, they hire a defensive coach.
So let's just flip the script here. Who's as far afield from Belichick as you possibly can get? Maybe. Who's an old school guy?
Bruce Arians?
Well,
Yeah.
And somebody who's like, okay, coached them all. Peyton? Ben?
Yeah.
He's coached them all.
Andrew Luck?
Yeah. So, Darrelle Revis, that's an interesting one. Practice against Tom Brady every day like he was playing in the 92 Dream Team. He brought that. Yeah, okay, great. Dude. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Revis.
It's not going to be the same anymore.
And this is in all due respect.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
You're going to go from Robert Kraft to Dean Spanos?
No.
In terms of ownership?
No, look, you're going to go from Belichick to anybody else.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Bruce Arians, Bruce Arians is a terrific coach.
But Anthony Lynn's a defensive
You know what
guy.
Arians is close to Belichick like? Is that it just where he's got experience up the you-know-what and can try and relate it to somebody in this day. Like, hey, this is what Bear Bryant told me. This is what happened when I was, around Peyton back in the day. You don't need to do that with Tom. All right, we're back with more in a moment. So our Capital One Best Life Player of the Week, brought to you by Capital One, which is reimagined banking by offering savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums. One of the nation's best savings rates. Capital One, what's in your wallet? We were thinking, who do we go with? We go with Stephon Diggs, who clearly has been wanting out of Minnesota, and now he's going to Western New York, where he's part of a dynamic young team that made the playoffs last year, and now is in a division where their longtime nemesis is out. Thought maybe it could be Brady. He's living his best life. He's going to try and figure out what his new best life is. We could talk about DeAndre Hopkins, where he's going to a new spot where he feels potentially like he's more wanted. We're going with Kyler Murray.
Okay.
We're going with Kyler Murray. Because,
did he do anything particular? Or?
Well, he's Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He's the reigning offensive player of the year.
Rookie.
Rookie of the year, pardon me. That's right. Thank you.
Yep.
And do you know how many times in the NFL where you're drafted and you're drafted by a team that fires its coach? You're drafted by a team that doesn't have the proper system. You're drafted by a team that doesn't have the weapons for you. And your quarterback career goes down to El Toilette real fast. How about the guy replaced as a case in point? Kyler Murray's living his best life, man. Because here he is. Cliff Kingsbury's not going anywhere. He's year one into this system that Larry Fitzgerald raises his hand before all of this, says, I'll come back and play for. And then DeAndre Hopkins shows up. You think Kenyon Drake is going to want to shop around with his transition tag right now? Maybe to try and get a little bit more money? I don't know. Come on now. And this move allows Arizona to get out from a contract and allows Arizona to use the 8th overall pick on a guy to protect you. That's the best life player of the week. That's it right there. Phillip in Indianapolis. That's an interesting one.
I feel bad for Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, man. I think his
he wouldn't have got hurt last year.
I think so,
he
right?
was playing so well.
He was playing well, and then his knee got hurt, and they had to have him in there because
they didn't have anybody else.
Because Hoyer was clearly not the guy.
Right.
And then they lost in Pittsburgh, and that was such a tie-break loss for them that they couldn't put in their back pocket, and Pittsburgh did, which would have cashed in for a 7th seed in 2020. Let's go right now to Mike in Miami, Florida. Mike, what's going on? I got about a minute for you. Mike in Miami, you're on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, sir?
Mr. Rich Eisen, thank you for taking the call.
You got it.
Hey, so I'm a loyal YouTuber that goes on my crew over in the chat, and before I get scolded with a Game of Thrones style of shame by the chat, Rich, I just have to give a shout out to the infamous 454 crew.
I love it.
And and my friend TD Fins Talk, the home of Miami Dolphins fans on YouTube. Rich, oh my, what the Dolphins are doing. Woo-wee.
Hey, I like the Byron Jones move big time. Obviously, Kyle Van Noy comes at a specific price, and Brian Flores knows exactly what he can do because he was doing his job for them. And honestly, just to head you off of the pass, Mike, too, go get Tua. Go get him. You wanted him. I think they've been. Go get him. Go get him. Take your 5th overall pick. Take another one of those picks from the first round. Tell Detroit we'll flip you another 3 or a 4, and just do it. Go get your guy and go to battle. And let him sit there if you need to and get healthy. Fitzmagic is the perfect guy to tell him how to be a professional if he needs that. I mean, it's set up. Go get him. That's my 2 cents.
Brian Flores have taken the gloves off.
Go do it.
And if you were shocked with our 5-11 comeback season with no roster, just imagine what Flores and Miami Messiah will get done with this new defense.
Mike, thanks I'm sorry, I got to jump on the radio side of things. We're going to get cut off, but I appreciate you checking us out on YouTube. He's referring to the 454s, which is what we're naming the people in our chat room based on my Uber rating.
454 crew.
The great Jack Nicklaus is going to join us at the top of the next hour. Apparently wants to talk some NFL football and also about staying safe so he can be healthy with the coronavirus being all around us. That's next. Yes, and my apologies to our YouTube page. We're on a terrestrial radio station network as well. There are certain times where we're cut off, so our loyal radio stations can make its money and air local ads or national ads or what have you. So that's the way it works. Hey, man, I'm enjoying seeing how many people are checking us out.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if there's just the shout out. Yes, the 454 crew. Hello.
Hello.
And this is a gray sweater.
Heather Gray.
The man who's just won. The Capital One Best Life Player of the Week. He's won the Heisman Trophy, right? Yep. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Now the Capital One Best Life Player of the Week, and also our accuracy throwing contest 2 Super Bowls ago. Put your hands together for the most recent Heisman Trophy winner, Kyler Murray of Oklahoma. Where is that trophy right now?
I sleep next to it.
It's on your nightstand?
Yeah.
So it's Good Morning Heisman every day?
Yeah, tight.
Seriously, it's right there next to, like there's a night table next to Kyler Murray's bed and the Heisman Trophy's resting.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and you've had it in your arms, like you've been spooning with it by accident? Like,
no, there's no spooning.
There's no Heisman spooning?
No.
By the way, I would absolutely spoon with the
you.
Heisman if I won the Heisman. Now taking part in the Rich Eisen Show Throw Challenge, Kyler Murray, is this the first NFL Duke ball that you have thrown? That's an NFL. Oh my God, you won't even answer that. Wow. Go for it, Kyler. Go for it. That's one. First one, here we go. That's 2. Kyler Murray. Everybody. That's 3. By the way, that's 4. Those are all Duke NFL footballs. Just wanted everyone to know that.
First overall pick. First overall.
That's 4. That's 5. Wow. These are the footballs Kurt Warner complained about. That's 6. Oh. That's 7. Whoa. That's 8. Oh my goodness. Here, let's get some. Oh no. Here we go. Keep going.
I'm on.
You got one more?
Hold on, this is getting bad.
Here we go. No. Yeah, it's getting bad. You got 7 for first 7. Good enough. 7 out of 10. Kyler Murray. Good to see you, man. Congratulations. He won the Heisman and it seems the Rich Eisen throwing contest in the same year. That's a first. No one could ever take that away from you.
What we're gonna do right here is go back into time.
Previously on the Rich Eisen Show.
Peter King's on right now, and I don't know if you saw what Adam Schefter just reported. DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona.
DeAndre Hopkins is an 8th-year player. There is no position in this draft that has as many good players in it as wide receiver. The most important element of this trade is certainly not David Johnson. It's that 38th pick overall. That is why Bill O'Brien did this deal.
Another Rich Eisen Show is coming at you right now.
Y'all ready for this?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
We have no idea what's going to look like 5 weeks from now. None. Because things are going in light years. In just minutes.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com.
This feels like 9/11 to me. Totally know it's different between terrorism and pandemic, but I'm just talking about the way we're all feeling as Americans.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Stay positive and don't freak out.
Earlier on the show, Tom Curran, Ed Orgeron, former NFL executive Joe Banner. Coming up, 18-time major winner Jack Nicklaus. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour number 3 of the Rich Eisen Show on the air, and we are pleased to be here for you as long as we are healthy and hearty and hale and maintaining social distancing in our studio, which we are, as opposed to just the usual social distancing because we occasionally just don't have anything to do with each other. We'll do the show, and we're here on this loyal Rich Eisen Show radio affiliate, and also if you want to watch us, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Ed Orgeron, the head coach of LSU football, was on in hour number 1. Tom Curran and Joe Banner on all the news breaking in the NFL free agency world. Tom Brady announcing on his Instagram account earlier this morning that he and the Patriots are parting ways after 20 years. It looks like it could be either the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Los Angeles Chargers, or one of those proverbial unknown teams in line for his services. As we were taking a commercial break, the Carolina Panthers appeared to be, according to my compadres at NFL Network and the NFL Media Group, finalizing a contract for Teddy Bridgewater.
Wow.
And if that happens, they should release Cam Newton. Don't make him make a trade. Don't forget. I know everybody's new there, from the owner, relatively new, from the owner to the new coaching staff. Let him go. Let him walk. Let him find a new job while the jobs are still open. It's my 2 cents. Of course, it's easy for me to do that, but I just think it's the right thing to do. And speaking of the right thing to do, this man is an idol of mine. I've loved watching him play, and he's just stands for all that is great and right, not just in the golf world. I saw his message that he tweeted out for everybody to be safe and be smart to try and battle the coronavirus. And I guess he also would love to chat some NFL free agency. And why not? We all love the sport. He's one of the all-time greats in the Golf Hall of Fame as well as in business. He's Jack Nicklaus. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Rich. How you doing?
I'm better for talking to you. Thank you for calling in. I saw your message. And it really blew me away, Jack, about what you wanted to say to keep people, certainly of your generation, as safe and sound. I'd love for you to repeat it or just tell anybody who might not have seen your message on your Twitter accounts and your social media feeds.
Well, in general, I basically said that I sort of applauded the sports world and what they did. I thought they made the right decisions, but also that we have problems, and we these problems are going to be around for a while, and that I said I'm 80 years old, my wife's 80 years old. We are both at-risk people, and that. But the kids, are not going to be. The kids got to be smart because they're going to take it home to their parents and their grandparents. And we've just got a time where we all got to be smart. We got to be try to stay healthy, and we try to do the things that the government is asking us to do. And if we do that, we'll get through this thing like we always do.
Would you mind letting people know what precautions you and your wife are taking? Obviously, you have a large family and a large extended family that you've let America essentially in on getting to know throughout the decades. How are you handling this personally, Jack?
Well, I'm just sort of basically staying at home. I ended up having a cold last week, so I don't know. And Barbara and we got tested for it, but we won't have the results back for a couple of days. But I'm feeling fine now. But I think that basically stayed home. I've been home in the house here for I guess 5 days now, and haven't really been anywhere. I haven't tried to. I've kept the kids away. We had a birthday last night of one of the kids, so I didn't go to it. And I just don't think it's smart. I think it's. I think we all got to. There's a lot of things I don't want to do. I got 22 grandkids, and they're all going to keep coming up with birthdays and functions. And, as much as I want to go to them, I think right now we just sort of, call them, give them a hug over the phone, and say, "Have a great day."
Jack Nicklaus here on the Rich Eisen Show. Were you party at all into the decision by those at Augusta National to postpone the Masters? Were you involved in that conversation at all, Jack?
Oh, I was not involved in the conversation. Fred called me before he announced it and told me what he was going to do, and I concurred with him. I thought that was the right call for him, and. And people have said, well, they're going to try to play the Masters later. I don't know how they can. I don't know how they can get it on the schedule. I think it would be great if they could, but that would be probably unfair to another tournament.
Yeah, I guess there's a whole reconfiguring of the sports world right now. And the conversation might be that the Masters would be played in September. I imagine you've played that course in September. Does it play any differently at that time of year?
Nobody's ever played it in September. It doesn't open until October 15th.
Okay. So literally nobody has ever set foot on that course in the month of September is what you're saying, Jack.
Not unless it's probably somebody local that just went out and hit balls. But basically, the golf course is closed from May 15th to October 15th, and then they overseed the golf course. And in the fall, the golf course is not really very good because it's the ryegrass growing in. The greens will be all right. But it would be a difficult thing to do, and whether they do it or not, I don't know. But if they did, I think it'd be great. But I think that's what do you do with every other tournament that's into that date?
Right. Jack Nicklaus here on the Rich Eisen Show. I'm part of, I'm glad that I'm not very well versed on the Augusta National openings and closings very well. So I appreciate you chiming in on that. So are you watching the NFL news that's coming across the screen, Jack?
Yeah, I am watching it. I'm watching a little bit here and there and seeing the things. And of course, I've got a grandson in free agents right now. I don't think Nick will be up very high, but. He's been working hard trying to get himself quicker and faster, and
right.
Hopefully somebody's going to pick up somebody that's pretty good. He's going to be a lot better now than he was. But anyway, I've been watching it and we're following it, and I'm very interested in seeing things. Boy, I tell you, did Arizona get a deal?
They sure did, Jack. I mean, what'd you think of that DeAndre Hopkins trade, huh?
Wow. I mean, is he some receiver? I mean, I don't know about Johnson, but I'm surprised they would ever let Hopkins go.
It was kind of surprising. What did you think of Tom Brady's decision to announce today to part ways with the Patriots for 20 years, Jack Nicklaus?
Well, I just heard that, and I think that Tom still wants to play. I do not. I've never met Tom, so I don't know.
Is that right?
No, never met him. Well, he's a Michigan guy. He's I think guys no, we don't get together. But
oh man,
I'm a big Brady fan. I really have been. I've been a big Brady fan for a long time, and I think he's handled himself beautifully. I'm disappointed that the Patriots don't want to move on with him, but that's their business. And not mine. But it's what a talent, and he's not done yet.
Did you ever think of playing football back in the day, Jack?
Oh, I played, but I was, I quit early because I started running into golf season, and
sure,
I was smart enough to figure out that I played quarterback. I wasn't tall enough, my hands weren't big enough, and it made more sense for me to play golf than it did play football. So that's what I did.
So were you there? Of course you were. What was your relationship with Woody Hayes back in the day, Jack?
I had a great relationship with Woody Hayes. Woody Hayes was one of my favorite people. He was fabulous to deal with. People don't realize that Woody, and I could be a little off this, but I think I'm right. Woody's salary when he took the job at Ohio State was $25,000. When he retired, he was $25,000. Woody never took a raise. He always put his money back into the program or into kids, and he was a very highly principled guy. I mean, he had a little trouble sometimes on Saturday, but for the most part, Woody Hayes was one of the great people that I've ever met.
So are you saying you didn't stay in touch with Bo Schembechler then because he was a Michigan guy, Jack? Is that what you're saying?
I stayed in touch with Bo. Bo and I became very good friends, and Bo used to come every time I played up in Detroit. Bo would come out and walk with me, and we'd talk all the time.
Well, I when I went to the, I'm a Michigan man myself, Jack. Full disclosure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry, but the great Michigan golf course right in the shadow of Michigan Stadium, there were always legends about how you played and what you did on this hole or what you did on that hole and how you dominated this course in that way. Is it true that course is also designed, or some of the holes designed by the same Masters designer, Augusta National? Is that a true story?
Alice McKenzie did University of Michigan. He did Ohio State University, and he did Augusta National. Absolutely.
Okay. Your favorite hole at Augusta National would be what, Jack? Which is the one?
Oh, I don't know. I think that probably I like them all. I always say the one I'm playing at the time, but I mean, I love the A-man corner. I love 12. I love 13, and I think that area right there is pretty special at Augusta.
What about 16? I mean, would that be one that you'd mention as well?
Well, I've had great success at 16, and I've birdied it a lot of times when coming down to the end, and it's been very good to me. But I don't think 16 has got near the excitement that that 12 has.
Is it true that on that 16 in your famed Masters in '86 that you hit the ball and it was said, I hope the club is right, I hope it's there, and you picked up your tee and not even looking, saying it is? Is that a true story?
Yeah, I couldn't see the bottom of the flag. There's a bunker that sits right in front of the where the hole was. But anyway, I hit a 5-iron. There was a little breeze in our face, and the ball was in the air, and I hit it just exactly the way I wanted to. And my son Jackie was caddying for me, and he said, "Be right." And I just looked at him. I said, "It is." And that's the cockiest remark I've ever made in golf. That ball could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, I know. That's just awesome. All right, before I let you go, Jack, one more time, please, for anybody out there that needs to know. I don't know if you've seen. There's videos of people going to beaches. There's people who are still frequenting in large audiences and large crowds right now. I'm trying my best to tell everybody about it, and I'd give you the floor one more time, Jack, on that subject.
I don't think you can shut your life down. I think you can. I think outdoors is fine. If you want to go play golf, I think you don't have to be in a crowd to play golf, or you don't have. If you want to go out in a boat, or you want to go, work out outside, take a run, I don't think that's any problem. The problem is gathering and keeping clean. You got to wash your hands, and you can't be coughing on somebody, and the kids have got to be respectful of other people, because they may get it and not even know it. And all of a sudden take it home to the mom or pop or grandpa or grandma, and all of a sudden they've got a problem. So I think we just need to be smart and think about where we're going and what we're doing, and we'll get through this thing. As I said, as Americans, we need to work together, and we'll get through it.
Jack, you are you're the man, and I genuinely appreciate you taking some time out of your day to make this phone call. It means a lot to the show and everybody on it and everybody listening and watching, so thank you, and be well.
Well, thanks, Rich. I appreciate it. It's nice talking with you.
Right back at you. That's Jack Nicklaus right here on The Rich Eisen Show. How great is that?
That was cool. Said he was sorry that you were a Michigan man.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, feather in your cap, buddy.
Feather in my cap. But I remember, again, playing the Michigan golf course where they let people park on it. Because, I mean, there's 100,000. Yeah, man. People park on this baby.
I think we parked there when we went to the big house.
Is that right?
Notre Dame.
No.
We won, though, that day.
Oh, stop it.
It's like the Rose Bowl.
We're not playing you for a long time.
Stop it.
I'm kidding.
Do it for Jack, right? Do it for Jack. Do it for Jack.
Do it for your own grandparents.
Sit on your right. I know.
Yeah.
Do it for your own grandparents, your own mom, your own dad, your own uncle, aunt, whoever. There's a generation of people many of whom who fought for our country. And all we have to do is just sit at home, please. Or practice safe social distancing. My wife and I, we did take the kids for a hike the other day when it stopped raining for a few minutes. Okay? Couldn't go outside, walk around. Just be smart.
Outside, man.
Don't go in large gatherings and crowds. Please don't. And wash your hands and be safe with your sneezes and coughs right in your elbow. Don't touch your face. I know that everybody on YouTube is telling me I'm somewhat guilty of it. It's tough, but just be smart. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Chris Brockman's news update, and we empty the phone banks. And I believe my brother-in-law wants to call in to give what he always gives, a hot take.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. He's a diehard Patriot fan, a diehard Patriot fan. I'm married into a family of diehard Patriot fans. I'm the black sheep of the family, in other words. That's next on the Rich Eisen Show. Callaway Maverick Woods. Let's talk about this. You want to go out and you want to look. I know sometimes the way that I drive, there's no
aggressive.
Well, here's the thing. It's sometimes with my drives, it's easy to practice social distancing. Okay. If you hit one right down the fairway, it's very more likely than not I'm going to be more than 6 to 10 feet away from you. But these Callaway Maverick Woods, I put my, I went back 2 months ago, a month and a half ago when I was in Hawaii, I used one, and it is awesome. The artificial intelligence, along with the jailbreak technology that made the Epic driver so great, adding the artificial intelligence with the jailbreak technology means Maverick is creating more bombs than before. That's what Phil talks about. Remember Phil drove into the Masters talking about making bombs?
Talking about dropping bombs.
And this is what we're talking about. The forgiving Maverick Max, the low spin Maverick Sub-Zero, whether it's the Maverick or all of it. The revolutionary head shape, along with the revolutionary ball speed generating jailbreak technology. This is what makes it the #1 driver on major worldwide tours. New distances out there. It just takes a Maverick to find it. Get your new Maverick driver today at CallawayGolf.com. Callaway, the kings of distance. All right, we're on YouTube. Let me take some calls while we're here on YouTube.com, because I know that we've got the news and other people. I want to make sure we empty the phone banks. Our buddy David in Houston. Let's go to David. Hey, David, how you been, man?
Fine. It's an honor to follow Jack Nicklaus.
How about that? I figured that'd be you're my golf guy. You've given me so many golf tips. I figured why not go from Jack to David in Houston? How about that one?
I don't think Tiger's going to catch him. He may pass Sam Snead, but I don't think Tiger's going to catch Jack.
I bet.
And
So
Jack had a putting stroke like nobody else. He pushed with his right elbow. I've never seen anything like it, but obviously it worked fabulously.
I bet.
My question today is on your family. When are Xander and Cooper going to start playing golf?
And Taylor, I'm going to get look.
You've been to the driving range.
Taylor might be a little young. My pro said age 7 to 80 is who he would teach.
She's
8 to 80.
She's already got that. Look, my boys, they may be watching right now at home right now. They know I love them very, very much. My daughter, she's got like that move. She's got the move on the ball. She's got like that already hip movement with the arms following. She's already got that down pat. God bless her. So you never know. We'll figure it all out. But I just figured, David, why not have you come on and right after Jack?
Well, thank you. I'd be happy to make a comment about Hopkins. We're going to miss him. He was a reason to watch the Texans for sure. And I wanted to mention that Garrett Cole, a couple weeks ago, mentioned that the Astros were not cheating in 18 and 19.
Okay.
And your putting sure looked a lot better last week. Maybe we had a breakthrough.
Thanks for the call, David. I'm coachable. You know your trade is somewhat controversial when Jack Nicklaus goes, how about that trade? Arizona got a steal.
Can you believe that?
Jack sitting at home going, what the hell is Bill O'Brien doing? And how about that he's never met Brady? You could knock me over with a feather there. How have they not
Never crossed
met?
paths somewhere.
How about him saying he's a Michigan guy?
But they haven't been at the same event.
All these Buckeyes.
The ESPYs back in the day, or
yeah,
something?
I know. Like they
never.
How has Brady never crossed paths?
Right.
And I walked into like, hey, you know, sometimes in this business, Whatever. Well, I'll repeat.
I guess
this
Jack Nicklaus isn't going to the Met Gala each year.
No, he's not dressing up for the Met Gala.
You know what I mean?
As if that's the only thing Tom does. Yeah, Jack and Barbara are not the +2 of Giselle and Tom. Is that what you're saying?
Nope.
At the Met Gala.
Not going to Gronk's
dude, that's
wild
funny.
party the night before the
That
Super
made
Bowl.
me crack up. Let's go to Ben in Cincinnati. Let's take his phone call here on youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Ben?
Hi, Rich. How's it going?
I'm good. What's on your mind, man?
I'm a sports writer here in Cincinnati, and just first of all, I'd like to say you're a big inspiration to me. So thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
And I'm surrounded by people all the time wanting to ask me about sports. So I'd like to give the pulse of Bengals fans around here about the whole not taking Joe Burrow thing. I have never seen a fan base so dejected and discouraged, and they have pretty much resigned to the fact that they're not going to take Joe Burrow, and all just saying, oh, well, that's just how it goes for us.
Yeah.
So I just think that's interesting.
Here, Ben, and then I'll say this, and then I think we got our radio audiences coming back soon.
Yeah.
You're not franchise tagging A.J. Green just to take Chase Young. That ain't happening. And thanks for the call.
No.
And you just and Joe Banner saying I'm hearing Andy Dalton is not walking to Chicago because he wants to see what's happening in New England. This is all coming. Joe Burrow's coming. You're going to be drafted, and I think we're fine. We're back with more in a second. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Chris Brockman's news update brought to you by the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. If you're looking for the perfect addition to your garage this spring, look no further. Just head into your local Honda dealer and get a great deal on the 2020 Honda Passport today. You have the drop there, Mikey? There we go.
And now, with a report of the day's news from the world of sports and entertainment, someone who is not a journalist or newsman by any definition of the word whatsoever. It's Chris Brockman.
We saw Susie and I again. We're watching the Hillary documentary on Hulu, which is fascinating. So when they go back to the 90s and you're hearing Tom Brokaw doing some news, right. Susie just looks at me and she's like, "I'm waiting to hear Chris Brockman give the." It's really is a perfect Brokaw. What do you have over there, sir?
Very talented.
What do you got over there?
Okay, so as we've been talking about all show, Tom Brady not coming back to New England. Looks like it's down to the Los Angeles Chargers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for his services in 2020.
Yes.
And Tampa's unofficial mayor, Dick Vitale, has weighed in to make his pitch for Tom to come to the Bucs.
Tom, we need you in Tampa Bay. Great beaches. You'd love living here. It's unbelievable. And let me give you some reasons why. Number one, we got the unbelievable coach for you. He's a quarterback guru. He understands, Bruce Arians, what it takes to be a great quarterback, and he can help you. You're the greatest of all time, but he can guide you with the unbelievable receivers we have. We got great receivers. And what a challenge, Tom. Think about it. The challenge to take us to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I've been a season ticket holder for years. I want to win, baby. We need you, Tom. I beg you. I plead with you. Please, Mr. Brady, come to Tampa Bay. I'll be your chauffeur if you want me. I'll carry your bags. I'll do anything. We got to get you, Tom. They got the cash too, baby.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Maybe should we get Dick on tomorrow's show?
I think we should.
Now look, I will say this. This is what I will say. Could you imagine anybody out there, but just imagine you're Tom Brady. for just a second.
Oh, every day I think about that.
Of course. And you've got this big life decision to make. All right?
Gronk.
You got your big life decision to make, and your wife. Let's just say your wife's Giselle, right?
Oh.
Okay. And you got beautiful children.
That's true.
And you gather them all around.
Yep.
And you say, I know I've been really taking my time and figuring out where we're going to move and where you're going to go to school or where we're going to be or all of this stuff.
All of it.
I've come to the decision. We're going to Tampa, Florida. And they're like, really? What was the deciding factor? And then you play that video.
Well, I was scrolling my mentions, and
I was going back and forth. I'm going back and
forth.
forth. I've got this list of pros and cons, trying to figure out what's what.
It was 50-50.
And then here's what tipped the scales.
Yeah.
The Dick Vitale thumb on the scale, and then you play that video. I love his passionate fandom on everything.
The best part about it is he's wearing a bright blue golf shirt and loafers.
Fantastic.
It looks like he's right outside his house.
This is who you got for Tampa.
Yeah,
Please, Mr. Brady, come to Tampa me. I'll be your chauffeur if you want.
Okay.
That's a new drop.
Hey, the voice of being right on this for a couple weeks is our boy Jeff Darlington, who took a ton of heat saying that Brady was he'd be shocked if Brady went back to New England, and everything played out in a way that made you think that Tom was kind of on that track this whole time, right?
Yeah.
So Darlington just tweeted this out moments ago. I would not anticipate a decision from Tom Brady today, but I do expect one this week. And let me emphasize, he absolutely has a decision to make. His market is quietly very competitive, but not some crazy bidding war. Far more about finding a fit he likes rather than chasing money. And what that means is not so much scheme, but I think how's it going to work in the locker room a little bit? Just about fit and who wants me war. I don't know. Does it mean about the TB12 system and how free he will be to have it and institute it and be that part of the like he doesn't want any of the crap and the blowback or the grief that he might have reportedly received about having his trainer around.
Right.
Remember they had
on the plane, he got kicked off.
And he had to set something up across the street.
Right. Do you think the Chargers playing the Patriots this year is a factor in Tom's decision?
I can't imagine that would just be a cherry on top. I don't know. The Chargers need him. Oh, man, do they need him? They need him. Hey, everybody, could you imagine, again, here, what it would be like Tom Brady coming to this town, billboards,
all over town,
conversations, everywhere.
I mean, you've been saying it for months. The powder blue 12 jerseys that will fly off the shelves around here.
Right now, the Chargers is story 90, right? Behind everything going on in this world and the fact that the weather's freaking everybody out around here, too, adding to the apocalyptic feel about what's going on here in Southern California. Tom Brady says, I'm coming to the Los Angeles Chargers, would absolutely, for the first hour or two, knock coronavirus off the television sets here. I'm serious. I'm serious. Then we get back to the real life.
I believe it.
COVID-12. TB12.
Nice.
I don't think so. What else?
I think he's going to Tampa. For the Patriots side of this, there are now odds on the sites here about who's going to be the Patriots starting quarterback in Week 1, 2020. Jarrett Stidham, your favorite, 3-2. Andy Dalton, 3-1. Jameis Winston, 7-1. Derek Carr, about 8-1. Nick Foles, 9-1. Jimmy Garoppolo, 10-1.
Give me that. This is the next Patriot quarterback?
Patriots starting quarterback Week 1 this year.
And that is
Jarrett Stidham is 1.5-1.
That's what Tom Curran said.
Andy Dalton 3-1. Jameis Winston, your best long shot there, 7-1.
Whatever it is, I'm sure Bill's got the plan.
Cam Newton not on that list, was given permission by the Panthers this morning.
Let him go
to seek a trade. Cam Newton responded to the Panthers Instagram post saying, "Stop with the wordplay. Never asked for it. There's no dodging this one. I love the Panthers to death and will always love you guys. Please do not try and play me or manipulate the narrative and act like I wanted this. You forced me into this one." Greg Olson followed up sounds familiar.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Where does Cam Newton end up?
What font is that, by the way?
I don't know. Cam's been doing this font for years.
There's an umlaut over the I and the E's. And tildes over the N's.
I don't know how he does it, man. That must take forever
but
to type out.
There's actually flat lines over the capital E, but there are carets over the capital S's, and there are tildes over capital N's, but umlauts over lowercase e's.
But the W has a line through it.
It's definitely not for my age group.
Where do you think Cam goes?
I don't know, but you heard Joe Banner say an hour or two, his market is not robust. And the longer it goes, what are you going to give up a 6 or a 7 for him when Carolina's signing Teddy Bridgewater and they know that they're not going to have Cam as a backup there with Teddy Bridgewater there. They're not going to do that. He can't be there. It's not going to be workable there. Get him out of there. He was your first overall selection. He's been the face of your franchise forever. Get him out of there. Let him walk. Because you're not going to get anything for him right now. The time to have traded him would have been like a week ago. The time to have traded him would have been yesterday before you started,
negotiating with Teddy.
When the word was Teddy was talking to Chicago, that's the time they go get Cam somewhere.
Right.
You're going to get something for him now. What are you going to get for him now? Hey, our actions have totally decimated your trade value, but we're allowing you to seek a trade. Kind of doesn't work that way. And honestly, it would be a nice maneuver by the Carolina Panthers. Just say, all right,
show
Cam,
faith.
go.
Just release him.
You're free.
Yeah, let him find a new home. Speaking of the Bears, you just mentioned the Bears. They broke the bank for Robert Quinn, pass rusher. 5-year, $70 million contract, $30 million guaranteed.
All right.
Drew Brees going back to the Saints, 2 years, $50 million.
All right, so we could stop all the insanity right there.
Yeah, like Ian said, never in doubt, and now it's official.
Brady goes to the Bucs. It would be Brady, Brees twice a year.
That'd be great.
Both of them would be nationally televised, which is another reason why the Bucs could use them too. How many times would the Bucs be on national television without Tom Brady? Right? Tom Brady's in. Now suddenly the Bucs are all over. They're an international brand. I know I keep saying that the Chargers need him more, but I mean, could you imagine? Brady versus Brees in the Superdome would be big time. We got to get if Brady signs with the Bucs.
Sapp.
My first call is to Sapp. My first call is to Sapp.
That'd be pretty great. This deal went down last night. Amari Cooper stays in Dallas, 5-year, $100 million contract.
Again, I don't know.
$40 million guaranteed.
I don't know how it works in terms of annual salary, but Dak's 33 at the least. I looked up.
Actually,
Zeke.
reports that I saw, it works out perfectly. He's getting paid $20 million per year.
Okay, so that's $53 million for Dak to throw to Cooper, and then if you want to have Dak to flip it to Zeke, who throws it to Cooper in a halfback option, that will cost you $63 million. The right annually to have you do that play, $63 million.
Yes.
Dak flips to Zeke, who throws to Cooper. That's a $63 million option. Play.
Baby.
And that's why Joe Banner's like, you could spread your chips in other places and make other moves if you actually bought low. Irv was on NFL Network's coverage yesterday, and I'm about to go host that again from 4 to 7 Eastern time at NFL Network. Michael Irvin was there, fully suited and booted in his home office with a laptop in front of him, so it was looking straight up. That was the perspective. Him fully suited and booted with the full-on pocket square.
Irvin.
And I said to him, if I didn't see like 3 mini Lombardi trophies and a sports Emmy and a mini national championship trophy behind you, I'd think I'm applying for a bank loan. That's what it looked like. Like, how may I help you? So Irv was pointing out, hey, all the Cowboys fans last year, do not give Dak $30 million a year. How does that sound now? That sounds like a cut rate.
That's a deal, man.
That's the point.
Yeah,
Get in while you can.
That's a deal.
Now, Dak might have been saying no to that then, knowing that this could play out this way.
I mean, that would have been smart foresight on his part.
You got one other thing because I want to empty phone banks.
Yeah, just 2 other things real quick. Non-football here. The French Open announced it's postponed until September. And Canelo Alvarez and Triple G are going to fight a trilogy bout in September as well.
And then also the Kentucky Derby for the first time has moved off of the first Saturday in May, and it's now going to be
in the fall.
In September also.
Yeah.
September, look, knock on wood. We all do the right thing.
Let's hope.
And we can get back to life that way. I'm hoping by August, September, right? September could be the time where we have the start of the NFL season, a smaller baseball season. I don't know. And we just, it's amazing. In this business, you're supposed to ask questions that you already know the answer to or you think you know the answer to. Here I am asking Jack Nicklaus. I'm like, you must have played the course in September. How's the Masters going to play in September if people are talking about September? And he's like, I've never played the course in September because the course is closed between May 15th and October 15th.
That's crazy.
Which,
were they overseeded?
You know what that means is that I must not have gotten the guidebook when my membership came through. Didn't get that guidebook.
Nice.
Yeah, Jack just taught me something about Augusta National. Closed between May 15th and October 15th. You start talking about in the fall, it doesn't, the fairways don't, fare as well. Man, that's the news update. The Capital One fan line. Let's go to him right here on the Rich Eisen Show. John in North Carolina has been holding the longest, so you're in. What's up, John?
Yeah, y'all touched on a lot of things already.
Go for
about Tampa Bay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, you're on. What's on?
Yeah, about Tampa Bay and everything. So I'm just gonna pretty much say that I think that we have the best roster on the basically out there against the Chargers. Have Evan, Godwin, and also you have one of our favorite targets, a slot receiver. I think is a great slot receiver, Scotty Miller. And then you have Bray and O.J. Howard. You can run a 2 tight end set. So, to me, that's the best decision. I just wanted to get that across. That's my plea pretty much. Come on, Tom. Be at Tampa Bay.
There you go. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. Again, the whole idea is that he's not a fit. Tom's not a fit because Arian sends everybody out, and Tom's a 43-year-old guy that will have to fend for himself. I have a feeling that they'll figure it out. Bruce Arians is a guy. I think he knows his X's and O's. They'll figure it out.
Again, Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards
and
30 touchdowns in this system last year.
30-30, right?
Right. And you got to figure Tom's going to throw less than 30 interceptions.
And again, all things being equal, here's the Bucks ace in the hole. I think there's the Bucks ace in the hole right here.
Please, Mr. Brady, come to Tampa Bay. I'll be your chauffeur if you want me. I'll carry your bags. I'll do anything. We got to get you, Tom. They got the cash too, baby.
There it is.
That's
amazing.
It.
That's the difference maker. That's what's going to tip the scales.
Gosh, that is unbelievable.
That is so good.
Matt in Louisiana. Let's take you here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Matt?
Hey, man, I feel like I have to say, you had Coach O on earlier, so I want to give him a go Tigers.
Nice.
Before we start. But I just wanted to say, are we sure that the speculation about Brady being able to go to Dallas is dead? I know that they franchise tag Dak, but I think Dak's looking around. He's seeing all these other players getting signed, like Amari. I'm not sure that he's not interested in pursuing his business somewhere else.
Well,
So,
I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this: if the NFL and Tom Brady and the Dallas Cowboys want to do that, it will just blow the roof off of everything for the NFL free agency.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, I think you could turn around and try to trade him, try to get some picks for Brady, and say, listen, we're going to get some more assets for you. Come here and let's make this roll.
Thanks for the call. Can you imagine? Let's just play it out, even though let's just play it all out.
Let's do it.
The way Darlington's been talking, Brady he'd be shocked if he was going to return.
Yeah,
and the way it played out was the manner in which somebody who is giving off a vibe to somebody that's shocked if it doesn't return.
Totally.
That said, Charlie Weiss told us don't listen to anything because Brady doesn't tell anybody anything. But Darlington must have had his ear to the ground in a certain way, all right? And that takes some reporting. Now he's saying that this market is quietly very competitive.
Between just two teams, or
he didn't say that on purpose. Okay. And he also said 4 hours ago this isn't likely to be a very drawn-out process. Even with the new COVID-19 regulations across the NFL, Brady never planned for a tour or even felt like he needed in-person meetings. 2 words, quick and quiet. So quick and quiet means that there could be
a team we don't know about. Oh, baby.
So the Dallas Cowboys rescind Dak's franchise tag, let him become a free agent. Tom Brady goes there. That would just be, I just hope I'm on the air with Michael Irvin as that happens on NFL Network.
Do you think his head would explode?
Of course it would.
I mean, physically, his head explodes.
Like scanners?
Yeah, like we've never seen before.
I hope not. Francisco in Connecticut, you're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Francisco?
Oh, thank you, Rich. I would like to say your run, your 41 was amazing.
Thank you.
You doing that every year is amazing. I would like to say to everyone I'm seeing the live show on YouTube. I have it on mute as told. I know I don't have enough time. A lot of times when we need to ask you a few questions. Coughlin going to the Browns, securing that offensive line. How do you think about that?
That was big. I know the Titans fans were calling in saying that the Titans need to get Conklin, but that was a nice signing by the Browns. I think that was smart, and I think they needed to do it. And I think that is I was very pleased to see that for Browns fans. I like that signing a lot.
Also, NFC West, now, is it the best division in the league now that D-Hop is in Arizona?
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just the defending NFC champs are there, who needed a pass from the Seahawks to be stopped at the 1-inch line in order to beat that team for the division. The previous NFC champion resides in that division, and now the Arizona Cardinals, with the first overall pick, fresh off an offensive rookie of the year season, adds DeAndre Hopkins to an offense that already has Larry Fitzgerald and a coach who's got 1 year in that system already under his belt. Chandler Jones is out there, too. They're going to add a big-time protector for Kyler Murray at 8th overall. Damn straight the NFC. I didn't even stutter the NFC West is the best division. And even if Brady joins the NFC South, even if Brady joins the Bucs, the NFC West is the best division in the NFL.
That is very true. Very competitive, but I think the NFC West is above everyone. Now, last question.
Yes, sir.
You just pulled up that Cam didn't ask for a trade. I wish they released him yesterday, but you said Andy Dalton is looking at New England, not Chicago.
Maybe.
I don't think Nick Foles is going all the way up to Chicago to compete. I think with the contract that he's on with Jaguars, it's better just to keep him there, let him and Gardner Minshew work it out. So, with that being said, Cam to Chicago is interesting.
It's something out there. And thank you for the call. I really appreciate what you had to say, Francisco. I think Trubisky, they clearly want to bring some sort of competitor in for him. Just like, by the way, we didn't even talk about this. Marcus Mariota going to the Raiders.
Yeah. What does that mean about Derek Carr?
Well, what it means is Derek Carr is going to throw the first pass for the for the Las Vegas Raiders in their new Death Star. He will do that.
And when it's picked off, he gets immediately benched?
Or Mariota will play the role of Tannehill, and Carr will play the role of Mariota.
Oh.
That's essentially what's being set up.
Or what if Mariota is like a Taysom Hill?
Possible. Mayock had him number 1 over Jameis in that draft. Knock on wood if you're with me.
Oh, baby.
We're back on the Rich Eisen Show. That's the Capital One fan phone line, brought to you by Capital One, which has reimagined banking by offering savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums and one of the nation's best savings rates. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Back with you in a moment. All right, I know my brother-in-law said he was going to call in, but he hasn't. No good, man.
Scott had tweeted at me earlier.
Say it again?
Scott sent me a tweet earlier about something. Oh, let me find it.
Okay.
It was a crying emoji.
We'll call back tomorrow, man.
Scott's got to cry.
Paul Rudd. Let's check out the great Paul Rudd. Is this when he was here in his Royals outfit and uniform? This is great. Check it out. We've been promising him, and he is here. Actor Paul Rudd, who is now here in full Kansas City Royals white baseball uniform with the special gold trim. It's his opening day gear.
Wow.
And a Royals hat.
No glove.
No glove. Run on the back, 42.
Yep.
And are those shades from the
They're from Karl Lagerfeld.
Is this Kansas City Royals issued? Did you get because you got the belt,
You've got the shoes. Do you have the stirrups?
I have stirrups.
Okay.
I have stirrups. I forgot to pack them.
Where did TSA stop you?
They said, yeah.
You can't go with the royal blue stirrups.
Not allowed to take toothpaste.
If you'd only put it in the plastic bag.
Bottled water and stirrups.
Come on, tell everybody who sent you this. Tell everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The jersey?
Yeah.
My mom.
Your mom sent it to you.
My mom sent it to me for my birthday.
Awesome. Come on, man.
Thanks, Mom.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Walking around. Just walk around the studio space. Explore the studio space. There's Paul Rudd right behind me with the sunglasses. Just freak people out. Can we raise the blinds here? So there's Paul. Paul just going back there.
Just walk into the cafeteria like that and see what happens.
There he is, just staring at people as they're going about their business on the campus here at AT&T in his full-on white Kansas City Royals jersey.
Does this affect the flair?
Yeah, there's a flair situation, but there you go. People are looking right in there and saying, wow, what is Paul Rudd doing? Just chilling out there. There you go. Get down there, Paul. Right here on the Rich Eisen Show.
You know, and it was funny where he just totally surprised us. We had no idea.
Yeah, he just showed up.
Now, there was another time when Will Ferrell showed up.
Yes.
About 3 years ago now. On
long ago?
On Halloween, where it was funny. He was here, and Brittany, was part of our Rich Eisen Show crew at the time, came out and she says, I know, you like going back to see I always like going back to see guests who are in studio first to just welcome them here. And I can't wait till we have another studio guest one day with everything going on here with the craziness in the world. But at any rate, she's like, Will doesn't want anybody back there. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, he didn't want me to say anything, but he's here in costume. And I'm like, say no more. I don't want any more. And he came out dressed head to toe as JC.
Oh,
Good
that
job,
one.
Don. There it is.
I
Thank
thought you were talking about the
he's come more
soccer
than one
outfit.
time.
Because he every year, check out that. As you can see, folks, it's on YouTube. Check that out. It was the day before Halloween in 2017. And you see, it was the Dodgers were playing, I think, Game 6 against the Astros that night. The next night. Oh my God. Yeah, man. And he said, curveball. And she says, that's right, Don. You see that he held up the costume because his kids decide who he is. So for Halloween every year, he held up that costume, and at the bottom it says adult. You see it says adult, and underneath it says one size fits most. Good job pulling that up, Don. Thank you for that.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, man.
That was great.
Oh, dude. And then he had the slippers on. One said W, one said F. That was great.
Love it.
Dude, that was in the middle of all the World Series with the Astros and the Dodgers. None of us. An innocent
we
time.
had no idea.
An innocent time. We had no idea about the trash
idea.
can banging that was happening. Allegedly.
Curveball.
Man,
Change
oh, man.
up.
Yeah.
How much time till we're back, Mike? It's
About
got to
a
be
minute.
close.
Got a minute.
All right.
Got a minute.
Got to be close.
Yeah.
All right, I'm seeing some people that want to get on the phone line right now. 844-204-RICH. We are definitely. Oh, you hung up. The Patriot fan that I wanted to fill up the cup with your tears. Tommy.
I can't hear you. I got 6 rings in my
Attaboy.
ear.
Great response.
That's great.
Scoreboard is the ultimate response to anybody out there. All right, back with more in a second. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Let's go back to the Capital One phone lines, brought to you again by Capital One, which is reimagined banking by offering savings and checking accounts with no fees, no minimums, one of the nation's best savings rates. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Approval required. Capital One, NA member FDIC. Chad in Cincinnati, let's get you on here. What's up, Chad?
You know it, Rich. How you doing?
I'm good. You must be excited. You call about the Cardinals all the time, don't you?
That's right. You know what's funny, Rich? Yesterday I'm sitting here working, and then I heard this tweet or saw this tweet about it, and I thought, you know what? This news has gone too far this time.
That's
because
right.
there was no way Houston would do this trade. So I saw that, and I'm just speechless. And then today I see we picked up potentially Jordan Phillips from Buffalo. I'm like, man, I think the Cardinals could be a contender next year in the NFC West. But that's why I was calling. I was curious what you thought.
I think, Christopher, tell Chad from Cincinnati what my hot take was in my post-Super Bowl 4 Down segment that we will definitely be revisiting tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to post this.
What was my hot take?
Yeah, I'm going to post that clip here after the show today. Rich said in 2020, Kyler Murray top 3 MVP.
Top 3 in MVP voting is what I said after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you said that 6 weeks ago.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Wow.
So I'm with you now, and that was before DeAndre Hopkins was there. And thanks for the call, Chad. Think about it. Kenyon Drake, who was a touchdown, it was raining touchdowns from him, right? Kenyon Drake, greatest waiver wire pickup of the 2020 season post week 8. Right?
For fantasy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody comes close to being sitting there on a fantasy waiver wire for many after
because
week
they're
8,
like
week
they have
9.
David Johnson. Well, why are they getting Kenyon Drake for?
He's back there, and you break huddle, and there's DeAndre Hopkins outside the numbers and Larry inside on the slot. What do you do? What do you do? And Christian Kirk, no slouch, on the other side. And you know that kid Isabella, who ran for 1 million yards away from everybody against the Niners on Thursday Night Football, is going to have another good year. You'd have to think he's improving. And towards the end of the draft, they start picking kids up.
And if you only rush 2 or 3, Kyler Murray's going to take off.
Take off.
By the way, as Sarah pointed out, the Cardinals, one of 5 teams eligible for Hard Knocks this year.
All right, let's get they're in.
They're a lock, right?
They're a lock.
They're a lock.
Okay, let's get Daniel in New York here. I want to help this young man. What's up, Daniel?
Rich, I am dying over here, man. There's no school. They canceled everything.
Right.
And I wake up 15-year-old. So I wake up at 12, and what just happened in my life? And I read Bill Belichick's little speech to him. Now he wants to be sentimental. Are you crazy? Now he wants to be sentimental. This guy loves nobody or nothing. Is he serious? And what really gets me, you said it'll never be the same. What really gets me is the money. Rich, you will never get another guy willing to take half the money he's worth.
That's true.
In order to stay. Like that's the thing that gets me. You'll draft someone 5 years, and they're going to want to take their money.
Here, Daniel, let me help you here because I only have a minute left in the whole show. That you're 15, is that what you're saying? You're 15? Yeah. So 5 years before you were born is when it all started. And then when you started loving football, you'll never forget Tom Brady, and you'll never forget this experience. Latch onto it, and just know that when Chris Brockman, when you were 15, did you see Tom Brady in this thing coming for 20 years? Nope. So don't worry, Daniel. It may not be the same, but it's entirely possible. Hang in there. And by the way, stay home. Stay home. You can get this thing and spread it around. Thank you for calling in, Daniel. Stay where you are, okay? Don't go walking out of the house just because you're 15.
Man, when I was 15, it was like...
You didn't see this coming?
It was year 2 Drew Bledsoe.
When Susie was 15, when no Patriots fans saw any of this coming.
No, of course not.
It is an incredible run that we will never see repeated in the history of the National Football League. Enjoy it for what you have.
It was great.
But welcome to the rest of us. Welcome to the rest of the NFL world. But you had a hell of a run.
It was great.
Hell of a show here. Thanks to Ed Orgeron Tom Curran, Joe Banner, and the great Jack Nicklaus. If you missed any of it, right here on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. And we will be back here at noon Eastern tomorrow on this loyal Rich Eisen Show affiliate. You should patronize every single one of the advertisers on this radio station. Best you can, certainly in these crazy times. I'll be on NFL Network an hour from now and back here in 12 hours from now, or 24, whatever. I can't tell. We'll see you Wednesday.